All right. Family, we should be live right now. Tell your friends, tell your family. Black Magic 363 is alive. He's back. Had a brief interruption.
In the building.
Yo, we was waiting on Billy Carson. We late. We was waiting on Billy. I don't know where Billy at, yo. I think he's probably asleep. You know, the brother run like 15 different businesses. He got millions to manage. So the brother's probably asleep. Hopefully he'll join us a little late during the show, a little later on during the show. But I said let's just get started with Blue Pill. So I'm with my brother Blue Pill, and we're gonna get started like that, man. But I want y'all to share this video. Very important that you share the video. Start liking the video at the beginning so you don't forget. It helps with the algorithm. So make sure you like the video. And in the description, make sure you sign up to my text community, you know, so you can stay informed of updates. All right. The numbers in the description. Just to let you know before we get started, my channel was suspended for a week. They said that a video I had from my brother Asir and the brother Blue Pill. Oh, let me show y'all. I mean Blue Pill. My fault. You know you a twin, man. I know you go through that your whole life, man.
My entire life.
Let me just share this with the people. So yeah, so they told me this video from Asir the Duke of Tears had medical misinformation about it. Now the brother only talked about the COVID and the vaccines for about 5 minutes. They zeroed in. I guess the algorithm picks up on if you talk about it for 2 minutes. And they said it was medical misinformation. Then they had a video from Brother Blue Pill, Brother Red Pill. He was at my spot in the Black Magic Studios. The video wasn't even about Corona or COVID or the vaccines. But like I said, he talked about it for a couple of minutes and they targeted that. And they said, you know what? That's medical misinformation. The thing is, family, if they could give me 3 strikes in 90 days, they could take away my channel. So this is what they are trying to do with this. You know what I'm saying? You get multiple strikes within a certain period. Boom, you out of here. This is the era of eliminating people who are influential. Mainstream media is completely 90% dead. They lost mostly all credibility. It's a joke at this point, and people do not take it serious. People are going to alternative sources of information. And one of them is a major one is YouTube. YouTube tried a couple of years ago, they tried to do something where they was going to get rid of the independent creators and they was going to bring TV to YouTube. So they told everybody, sign up to YouTube and you would get ESPN and HBO and ABC. Nobody wants to see that shit. It failed horribly. That's why when you go to YouTube, they be like, oh, sign up for YouTube TV and you can watch regular TV on YouTube. Nobody wants to see regular TV no more. They're understanding that now because podcasting blew up. They attempted that about 4 years ago. In the past 4 years, the podcast community is huge. So they understand now that, that's people don't want to see regular TV on YouTube. The podcast is the wave. So they're like, all right, well, let us at least control what podcasts we have. You know, Joe Rogan, he left YouTube. He went to Spotify. Joe Budden's doing his thing somewhere else, I believe. I think he's on Patreon. I'm not sure. But yeah, man, it is what it is. Just stay informed. I will eventually come out with my own platform, an idea, but the idea has to come to me. I move based on, you know, that gut feeling. They call it that gut feeling, or, you know, they say we have 3 brains: the brain, the gut, and the heart. When I get a certain feeling, I move on things, and I didn't get that feeling yet. So that's why I didn't move on it as, you know, yet. For those asking, why you ain't build your own platform? That's a huge endeavor, and you want to make sure when the people move there, number one, they move there in the first place because it's hard to move hundreds of thousands of people from one platform to the next. Secondly, you want to make sure you do it right. Thirdly, you want to make sure you don't do it from your ego, you do it from your heart. And I just didn't get that sign that I was looking for yet, but it's coming because I can feel it's coming closer now than ever. So stay tuned. I got some ideas. Stay tuned for Black Magic University. That's coming within a couple of weeks. Courses like the course me and Blue Pill did last year, the Kundalini course, that will be available up there. All future courses, all past courses will be on Black Magic University. Blue Pill will have a lot to offer on Black Magic University, and we're gonna make sure that works for everybody. So that's coming soon. But as far as the platform, I'll keep you updated with that. But no, I'm not. I am thinking about that. I'm not, not thinking about that. So I just wanted to say that real quick. While the people fill in the chat room, we got 400 people already in here already. Like the video, share the video, please, family. I'm not on YouTube, so I can't see how many people liked it yet. But I should have at least 50% of the people who liked the video already, whoever's in the chat room. Another thing, shout out to Copper Child Mike L. His info will be in the description bar after this video, or if you're watching this not live, it's already in the description bar. Make sure you support this brother. The crowns I wear is from that brother. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, shout out to
and shout out to King Simon, the best numerologist in the world, one of the best, him and Lord Strayhorn. And
the Numerator.
Numerator, yeah, his
He's
information.
the number one Numerator in the world, undeniable.
I'm on a different computer right now, so I don't have the flyer, but his information will be in the description as well. Mm-hmm. That brother has helped me for over 15 years, I think, probably 10 to 15 years. Myself, my queen, he told me about my son, when my son was born, all types of stuff. Shout out to him. Those are some brief announcements. Like I said, we were still waiting for Billy. I don't know what happened with Billy. I think he fell asleep. Blue Pill, I'm glad to have you back on here. Back on Black Magic 363. It feels good to be back on the airwaves. Welcome back, my brother.
Peace, love, and light. It's always an honor to be on this platform, sharing light with the family. Peace to the family. Peace to everybody in the chat. Peace to everybody that's going to hear this in the playback. All right? And peace to Billy, whenever Billy pulls up.
Yo, listen, family. The show ain't about. I want. You can't help but talk about crypto sometimes. I was going to talk about crypto, but that's a whole nother show. But I just got a text. That's why I said it. A lot of people buying shit up. Crypto market done went down, so it's the perfect time. If you late to the party, right. When I told y'all about the workshop with Chicago Crypto in November, it was at 20,000 Bitcoin. Now it's at 60. It done fell back down to 50. So I just want to say that real quick. But I got something coming up with crypto again. But Blue Pill doing big things in that market. Blue Pill doing big things, man. Yo, Blue, man, I'm proud of you for just doing so much, man. I see you moving and shaking. You're doing so much, brother. You're very inspirational. I remember when I told you, when I presented the idea of the Kundalini workshop to you, I said, yo, the ancestors telling me get Blue Pill. And the way you was moving and the way you was so confident during the prime of the whole COVID thing, it's it's like it's easy for somebody to make free throws in practice. You was making free throws during the game, fourth quarter. Everybody was panicking. Blue Pill was like, I'm unapologetically what you said,
optimistic.
Like Blue Pill was like, I know people like, who is this nigga here? Like, what gives you the audacity to talk like that? Number one, you're black. You know what I'm saying? Number two, you're a male. Number three, you see everything going on around you, and you still talk like that. Something ain't right about you. So I said I had to get Blue Pill for that Kundalini, and it worked out amazingly. But I thank you. I thank you for
telling me, I'm encountering people to speak about the transformation that they've been able to undertake, and just the breathing regimen within itself.
Mm-hmm.
That has done so much just to give people their confidence and their spirit back. Because remember, spirit and breath are synonymous. And what was under attack, or what is under attack, is the breath. Like Phil said on the show, right? The spirit and the breath are one. So this is a spiritual attack. It's an attack on the lungs, right? It's an attack on the lungs by way of the blood. So it don't get no more personal than that. You feel me? So, we understand that if a person is not properly breathing, then they're gonna let fear set in. You know what I'm saying? So even knowing how to breathe, that helps take you out of that arrested state. You know what I'm saying? Of fear. That frozen, that that crippling state.
Yeah.
So the
That's what when you don't breathe right, they be like, yo, you short circuiting, because we electrical beings, so they be like, you short circuiting. You can't even, you know what I'm saying? Your electricity can't even flow. You know what I'm saying? And that's why when you each consciousness requires a different level of breathing. So when you angry, you breathe totally different from when you calm. Totally different. There's no such thing as an angry person breathing the same as a calm person. And you help me understand that, bro.
Yeah, there's a science to it as well. Yeah. That's the fire breath. And you can work up your testosterone and your kundalini, you know what I'm saying? And there's a methodology for that fire breath for particular reasons. But then there's another methodology if you want to bring down, that particular energy frequency and bring it to a calm level and balance it out. And there's a meditative state. And we were even able last year on April 4th of 2020, during the quantum meditation, we were able to shift the Schumann resonance of the planet. And in my observation, bring about a shift, because that Monday, the Surgeon General got on TV and said there's been an unexpected turn in the curve of COVID. And it kind of flatlined until George Floyd kind of spiked in terms of people being animated again, angered, and, anger and fear and all of those things. Just seeing that incident, it had to make you sick. So what did it do to the susceptibility of people who are now getting misdiagnosed with false positives called COVID? I mean, but nonetheless, they took to the streets in millions, and they stepped over that fear and they got to the anger, right? Because they had to unleash it some way, somehow. They couldn't bottle up no more.
Indeed.
So, and now here we are in less than a year. I mean, when have you seen this lightning prosecution?
Yeah. Fast, yeah.
Everything
the brother in the chat said, Lord Josh said, bro, my nose. Hold up, I want to just put that. My nose is stopped up right now. Use peppermint essential oil. If that helps a lot. I feel if you and Phil, Dr. Valentine and KT talked about that. If you have a cold or if you're stopped up, you can't breathe right, that peppermint. Use that peppermint and eucalyptus. Get some peppermint.
Right.
Yeah, peppermint. Get that. Them essential oils is some serious stuff, y'all.
If you have silver bullet, the nostril, that'll work as well. To clear your sinuses out. But for now, attempt to breathe through the stomach. And release the air hissing, through the mouth, you know what I'm saying? And start opening up that nasal passage by stimulating, breathing out of the nose while you do that. You should try that a few times. And you might even want to speed it up just so you can force the nostrils open. Fire breath, So just do that continuously and you'll break through. You feel me? Your body really wants to know how committed are you to bringing it back to balance. You know what I'm saying? The more that you're willing to put in, the body will reset itself.
Blue, just off topic, and I'm not taking no more questions. I just want to bring this up. Somebody wants to know what's good for acid reflux. Do you know anything about anything that you could recommend for acid reflux? Then we're gonna get into the show. I know we're gonna get into the show, family. I just want to I know that's an important one. A lot of us eat late and shit like that and things we shouldn't eat. Go ahead, Blue. I'm sorry.
Yeah. I mean, sea moss is definitely something that I would suggest for acid reflux, because you have that imbalance, in your stomach based on, all of the acid that's being produced. And the sea moss is an emulsion, so it's gonna ease that inflammation. You know what I'm saying? And also you'll have the ability for the absorption of the minerals, through your walls. So you might want to utilize some sea moss in the smoothie format. right?
Indeed.
Entities and things of that nature.
Blue, man, you know what? We got an important show tonight. Powerful show tonight. Today's Earth Day.
Today's Earth Day.
Earth Day, 4/22. 4/22.
And we make an observation because we draw the parallels to say on 4/20, right? The whole world gathers to make notice and honor the peach fudge that grows on top of Earth.
On top of Earth.
Right? But on 4/22, you know what I'm saying? It's not too many people that are coming with that same energy, that are giving the same reverence to the mother. And it also coincides with today being the first day of Taurus. Taurus is an earth sign.
Today's the first day of Taurus? Today?
Yes.
Oh,
today.
Okay.
Yes. So it represents earth. It represents all things material, right? It represents resources. It represents money. You feel me? It represents, all of the good stuff as well. You dig what I'm saying? It represents all of this. This is what Taurus represents. It's dealing with what? The blossoming, not necessarily the harvest, but things coming. Things have already came into life by way of Aries kicking it off by being the ox, the beginning, the bull. You know what I'm saying? And this is the cow. This is the fertileness. This brings life forward. So these are like those fertile seasons. You feel me?
Indeed.
And it's not a coincidence that there's so much activity taking place in money markets and the currency markets at this particular time, like literally right now. I think Ether hit his all-time high today, but the market is on the down. It's a wonderful time to buy in the dip. If I could share just a vision so people can get a concept of what this looks like mentally, take the company SpaceX, right? SpaceX has advertised that they're going to send rockets to the moon, right? Or to different parts of the space or what have you. And sometimes they fail and sometimes they're successful. Well, envision a dip like this. The coins are coming back to their base as rocket ships and they're getting repaired, right? And some of them are getting refueled and they're going to take back off. And some of them are going to crash, right? They're going to take off and they're going to dip. And some of them is going to go to the moon, right? So through technical analysis and other methodologies, you're supposed to be able to what? Zero in on what's your best percentages or what's your best averages and edges to say, yo, this is where I'm going to wedge my bets, for lack of a better term, right? I'm going to put my, my bread.
Indeed. Blue, how I want to get started today is I want to get into this Bobby. We're talking about Earth, right?
Right.
I want to get into the legend Bobby Hemmett. A clip from him, Transatlantic Production. Shout out to Minister Clemson Brown.
Shout out to Clemson Brown. I saw a video of his the other day. He had an interview with an elder, and she was breaking it all the way down. Shout out to her. Shout out to Clemson Brown, still doing the work.
It's the master right there.
Yeah, we was at the.
We was at a spot. Yeah.
His priceless archive. So to see the brother, fully robust and back at it, sitting in the driver's seat doing what he does best, utilizing, new technology. It was dope to see.
I want to the interesting thing, I didn't purposely plan this, but we're talking about Earth. So the clip I wanted to present to you and Billy, where he's talking about Earth, it starts at the 44-minute mark. I said, Blue gonna like this shit. I said, Blue gonna like this, man, the 44. I said, Blue gonna think, oh man, Blue gonna talk all types of shit.
Like.
So this is a clip from Brother Bobby Hemmett.
Yes.
Let me play this, y'all, and we're gonna start the show about Earth, my family. Hold on. Let me see. Give me a second, y'all. All right.
You must understand that the earth was always.
Hold up, let me right to the 44 mark.
When the gods used to rule, You must understand that the earth was always here. It just wasn't always on the physical realm. It was always here, but as a gradual decline, it became physical. So when the gods used to rule, that was when the earth was not necessarily physical. You see what I'm saying? Yeah. Mm-hmm. Now, Rudolf Steiner says that at one time the original world was a spiritual world. Mm-hmm. And basically the vibration slowed down. And as it slowed down, the composites came together, the elements came together, and as slow vibration, they came together, became more dense. And our bodies became more dense. Our bodies became more dense. At one time, the spiritual world was just as visible as the physical, but the physical at that time was almost invisible. It was a little faint dim. As the vibration slowed down, the physical world became more vivid and more visual, and the spiritual world became invisible. You see what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. 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 So those particular times are during the times of the Lemuria. They got several names: Hyperborea, Terra, Alcaborea, Atlantis, Mu, all of that. Yeah. They were semi-physical times. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. You see. Mm-hmm. And we used to use, when you asked the question that we used to use, how we used to use all of this, we had the full function of all our energies, the chakras, the third eye, the kundalini, and all that. After we had the full function. After we came into the physical, we still had the full function. But the ancients understood one thing, that they had a race before time. They had a race against time. They knew that one day that these particular spiritual records that is in our DNA would shut down and would go offline, because as time went on, we started deteriorating, where it become more dormant. So what they had to do, they had a race between time. That's what they built Egypt for. They built Kemet to record as much records as they could before this shit shut down, and before our senses shut down and we just come down dumbfounded. Now, all this stuff comes together, because I often wonder if the Africans was just as advanced as the Egyptians. You have to often wonder this: why didn't the other Africans build the same type of society? Right. With all the large monuments. Yes. The Africans didn't need to build a society because they were very advanced. They had all that shit was in their head. It's just that they sent an expedition during the time of Atlantis at one part of the earth, mainly the center part, to build all the monuments so they can have when all this shit shut down. Mm-hmm. When this stuff start going down. So in the center part.
All right. Hold up. Blue.
They built the monument.
Blue, you hear me?
Yeah.
Wow. Shout out to the great brother Bobby Hammett. Wasn't that a magnificent clip, Blue?
Yes, indeed. Shout out to the master teacher, the elder.
Truly, master. Yo, Bobby. Wow, man. I remember, Bobby was so ahead of his time, man. So ahead of his time, bro. Blue, one thing.
At least 20 years. You know, because I watched all of last year, I was watching Bobby videos, and he was speaking directly to the moment in time that we were in, damn near almost sometimes all the way up into that day. That's how, quantum it was with Bobby in regards to the fact that he was like, yo, there's not even a lot of proof out there. If we could find just 1%, just one thing that backs up what I'm saying and everything right. And I'm like, Bobby, they got receipt after receipt after receipt. You know what I'm saying? Everything that damn near that he spoke on, you've seen it.
Indeed. What I want to ask you based on that clip is one thing Bobby said earlier that led up to that clip was he said that Earth, we're talking Earth Day, today's Earth Day. He said Earth was in the beginning before the universe was even founded. That makes Earth a very, and he said this was based on the Dogon. That makes Earth a very, 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 very important place. Now we look at it as the garbage of the universe. Everybody's more advanced than us, and then when you fuck up and you lose, you come to Earth and you learn you're in jail, prison, same thing, and we just the losers of the universe. Mm-hmm. Bobby said we was here before the universe was even founded. We have to we got to discuss what's going on with this. Our purpose here on Earth, Blue. Talk to me about that. Based on what Bobby said and what I just said to you, what do you think about Earth and the history of Earth and Earth's importance in the universal structure?
If we are to buy into the concept that is told to us that we live in an ever-expanding universe, right? Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Then what is it that necessarily keeps solar systems in place mathematically where the measurement is so precise that Earth fit, right, in a position where it is perfectly positioned to receive sunlight and not burn it, right? Mm-hmm. And also maintain aquatic life on a percentage of this planet that is the majority, right? So Earth has a specific positioning in time and space, which is supposed to be a random place, right? That is continuously expanding. So how does Earth maintain its balance where it's perfectly in alignment to receive what's considered to be what? The rays of life. Now, we haven't necessarily been anywhere else in this lifetime to say that anything else exists or what it exists like, right? We know the perfect balance that Earth represents and the ecosystems that Earth is able to house and call, these ecosystems are able to call Earth home, right? Simultaneously, everything exists simultaneously and everything is receiving from Earth and everything is giving to Earth. Everything is part of the Earth ecosystem, right? So how can that be possible? There's no randomness to that particular design. That is a specific design that has to fit together mathematically. So for something to be so mathematically precise that it is able to play host to all of the different terrains that you will find on the spatial planes, right? A place like that had to have been created in the mind of the creator to say, look, this is going to be the center or the juncture point of where all of my creation meets. And that is even what is said in the text about this particular place being the center of the universe. Right? So the fact that it's positioned, once again, the fact that it's mathematically and precisely positioned in such a way that it is able to host life from everywhere else throughout the galaxy, all of these other terrains, right? Think about insect life. Think about animal life. Think about the birds, right? Think about reptilians. Think about the diversity of humans, right? Think about all of these things. And all of this randomness, you don't think that all of these things represent different parts and places in the universe where those things are indigenous to, right? So Earth becomes the center point of the universe where all of these things get to go to school, okay? And the fact that you get to go to school here, the fact that you get to participate in this classroom gives you abilities to bump yourself up, you know what I mean? And graduate and become, something that's like a sentient light being, and you're going from a supernova to a star to a sun and all of this magnificence. Where else do you get to do that in the galaxy? There's nowhere else that is even considered. There's nowhere else that has that mythology. We don't know of those stories, so we can only entertain the one that's right in front of us. So Earth is the shit because we here. You understand? Woo! I can't vouch for anything or anywhere else. Right now, this the shit. This the jump off, right? We got to make the best of this. And we have imaginative abilities and everything. And it's cool to think about other places and give other places credit. But the fact that we're here on Earth, it got to be the center of the universe, right? This is everything. And we should treat it as such. And in a relationship with your planet, with your ecosystem, in the position and the confidence of yourself to be like, yo, this gotta be the best place in the universe if I'm standing on it, right? It's playing host to my presence, right? Where else can I possibly be? Until proven otherwise, right? I don't know what the atmosphere on Mars is like, and I don't know what the women on Venus is like. So, Earth got a lot going on that I still need to explore, to go back to the Most High with a suitcase full of memories to be like, yo, trust me, son, I got the best ones for you, man. Wait till you see this, pop this tape in. You know what I'm saying? Rolling up, yo, we're gonna watch this together. Yo. Like,
Indeed. Something Lux said, and the Loaded Lux, one of the most famous battle rappers in the world, probably the most famous battle rapper / lyricist in the world. He said, what he said? How do I say this out? He says, let me play this part real quick. I don't want to mess up because this pertains to, this is very important.
Prolific, yeah.
Yeah, one of the biggest poets in our time. Hold up, family. I'm gonna play this. Y'all gonna get this work, as Luck said. We gonna play this. It's not playing. All right. Hold up. Give me a second, family. Give me a second. Let's get this right. All right, I don't know why. It's not playing for some reason. Let me just say, I hope I say it right. It's not playing for some reason. I hope I say it right. Lux said, the small part I want to say, I want him to provide the context until what he said, but the part that I'm interested in what he said that leads to my question is he said in Manifesto, the video we just did with Cambada, myself, Cambada, and him off the Manifest Destiny album. He said, soul over scrolls. The Lord's law is tainted. Let me say that again, family. Soul, they say the soul, I just did a video with Phil Valentine. Phil said the soul resides in the heart.
In the heart.
So that's why when you swear, the police swear, I solemnly swear, and you wonder why them niggas is under mind control. They done sold their soul. You wonder why I got an uncle who's an officer, right? From my grandfather married another woman, not my grandmother. Right. And that side of the family said, ever since he became a cop, he changed. Yeah. That entity, that egregor.
Yeah, that's an egregor. It's a spirit.
That spirit took control. That spirit, you put your hand, just like you shake it. Your hand is important. You put your hand over your heart. That egregor got control over you now. Yeah. So now you're doing shit. You're a whole different individual now.
Yeah, you contracted.
But that's a whole nother story. I just wanted to say that. But I just want to repeat. Lux said, "Soul over scrolls. The Lord's law is tainted." With that being said, Blue, when you study the hieroglyphs and what we got and what Bobby talked about with the ancients, how much of that do you take with a grain of salt? Because you know that regardless of how you look at them, whatever they wrote can be tainted, can be false, can be a nigga with an agenda. Just like there's a nigga with an agenda in the conscious community today. If the earth ended, he could write some scrolls on the wall. That don't mean it necessarily was true. He could say, fuck blue pill. But everything else he could say was true. But he had a personal vendetta against you. Shit like that happened in the ancient world. But we romanticize it so we don't look at it like that. But the same shit that happened now was happening. in the ancient world. Maybe not to that extent, but shit happened. So how much of the ancient text do you look at with a grain of salt? How much soul do you use to do research, and how much information do you use to do research, Blue?
That's a wonderful question, and I can honestly say that it has to be a synthesis of two. And this is not even something that I can necessarily teach to somebody, even if I wanted to. I could probably give advice on how to get to that space, but you know, everyone is not necessarily going to have that skill set to read something with their soul. You know what I'm saying? And to see the words come to life. I've been in situations where I've read the book and I've seen the parts that are truth, like light on the book.
Well, like like you looking at the book.
Yeah, I'm in a book to such a degree that I'm even conceiving what the writer was thinking when he was writing the book. Right? And then I've been in places where I'm like, oh, this is deceitful. Like this person is spinning us at this point in the book, or they're just not being 100% truthful. I would pick that up a lot with the David Icke books. Then I'm like, oh, he's hiding something. This is a euphemism for something else that he's putting it. He know better than this. You feel me? So I had to develop that voice when I was reading the Bible, and I was reading it in, you know, situations of confinement, you know what I'm saying? Where it was just me and the word, and I had to really hear it. And there was chords in it that was they was off, and they wasn't making the sweet music. You know, when I read the Quran, you know what I'm saying? And the thing about the Quran, they like, look, if one word is off, the whole thing ain't true, because it's a song. You know what I'm saying? It's a song. It's a beautiful poem. It flows, and you know, I was just really, because I'm a journalist and I'm an avid reader and I'm a fan of poetry and mythology and all of these things, even as a child, as a young, you know, thinker, if you would, I was able to appreciate a lot of those books for the inspirational quality and for the storytelling ability. But I never really, you know, hung on to every single word per se, but I appreciated what was being conveyed, the aspects of it that dealt with, you know, things that was building of character, you know, and it all is all stories, and all of them stories pertain to some form of character building or character flaw. You know, when you boil it down, like I was able to boil it down a long time ago. I had a very dramatic experience when I was introduced to Christianity, and it was at the age of, I think, 12, right? Well, even before that, in St. Croix, when they would bring us to church, that's where we was jumping off at. You know what I'm saying? With shorties, nobody was learning anything. At least we wasn't, and we was children, like very young. So I remember they took me to Sunday school. I asked my parents, because everybody on my block was going to church, and we was the only ones left out. So we wanted to be, you know, in line with what our friends was doing. We said, look, let's at least go and see what this is about. And they took me to Sunday school. And the Sunday school joints show you the Sunday coloring book, like the color books for the Sunday school. They got pictures and they in color, right? So there's a white dude, and they was trying to tell me that he was in Africa because they had lions and stuff. And this was like Jesus or one of the prophets or something like that. And I'm like, yo, this is some BS, right? I had the encyclopedias by that time. I had the Britannica, my nigga. I used to take mad museum trips. You know what I'm saying? My father really taught me a lot of history at a young age, so I knew that was BS. And then they had another pictograph where dude was hanging a baby over the cliff, and he was gonna cut the baby in half because God was like, yo, if you rock with me, you're gonna kill your seed. And he was about to, I was like, yo, I can't do this, yo. I can't do it. And they was like, don't bring them back. And that was that. You feel me? So I was able to look at it subjective, like something ain't right over there. I need to read it with a very investigative eye and make notes. I had mad yellow pad notes in my mind, but I had the benefit of being in solitude and silence where I'm able to hear these conversations. And like I said, some of them cancel out other conversations, and you got to go back. I used to have mad notes. I used to be scribing mad notes, yo. And then I would interface both books. So I would read certain chapters in the Bible and go read the same chapters in the Quran and find similarities. It was like a number code. So I guess this probably started my number investigation, because I used to always find overlapping, scripture that you can find in other scripture that almost say the same thing. That's why I knew when I came into the Law 44 and I followed the writings of Paul, I was able to unlock the Bible. And the Bible is just a 44 resonating book, because Jesus is a 44 resonator, through and through, all the way. That book is about blood and bloodlines, 44 and 444.
Hey, Blue, you talk about 44 a whole lot. And you talking about the square, you talk about the coffin and the box and this and that. What does, for those who don't know, what does circling the square mean? Since you want to talk about the square so much, what does circling, because we think Earth is a circle, and you keep talking about a square and all this Freemasonic talk and this and that. What does circling the square mean, Blue?
Well, both shapes, right, in essence represent 360 degrees. But one of them you get to by the corners, which are 90-degree corners. You know what I'm saying? So 90 times 4 is 360. You get to it when it has shape, right? Circumference in it, volume, right? It has form. A circle can be formless, and it's 360 degrees. And it can go, this is 360 degrees, this is 360 degrees, this is 360 degrees. You feel me? And in the presence of a circular object such as that brings into play pi, right? And that's when you get into pi. And this is how you get into creation. So one is free, you know what I'm saying? And one is constricted by way of it being confined to shape, right? Being confined to an actual form, right? So with the 44, the whole concept is understanding, living in a carbon-based reality. There's an aspect of being boxed in, right? Everything is hexagonal, but on the surface is squares, right? But when you get to a circle, you can move energy around. You can circumambulate energy, as opposed to energy being stuck in 90-degree angles and creating positive ions, which attract negative things. That's why even in the charts, astrologically, when you're squaring somebody, you're in a conflict zone. You know what I'm saying? You put people in tenements, you know what I'm saying? People are fighting for the block. Right. The corner pocket of it, right? Niggas got coke in the corner pocket, shooting pool in the corner pocket of the avenue, slinging rocks. You know what I'm saying? So you get boxed in, then you get put into a cell. Then you get put into the box if you don't act right in that cell, right? You get charged with battery and get put into the box. You know what I'm saying? So this whole relationship, you are interfacing with this concept of imprisonment, of this box, of confinement.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Of your energy is still being harvested in a way. And if you're not knowledgeable of you being able to harvest for yourself, how can you possibly get out of the box? But on some Bruce Lee shit, you got to be like water, right? And that is that circular circumambulation. You know what I'm saying? Being able to be 360 degrees, but, not a square.
Why do you think, our slang, we usually advance with our slang. And we be like, you nigga, you salty. And there's usually a scientific reason behind, oh shit, you salty or whatever. We got nicknames for everything. When we call the vagina the box, do you think there's some scientific reason why we call it the box? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, because that is from which we come forward. You know what I'm saying? And it's the fourth orifice of the woman is her womb. So the 4 even goes back to the square or the box. You know what I mean? It's the womb. That is how you square the box. You know what I'm saying? That womb. I mean, how you square
How you circle
the square.
How you circle the square.
Right. You know, that womb, that vesica Pisces. You know what I'm saying? How you gain
That's how you
access
circle
to
the
that
square.
universe.
You heard of? Oh shit.
Yeah.
We advancing. We don't even know we circling the
I
square
mean,
with our slang. We don't even know it.
Our slang is always gonna, you know, go back to our science, even in our amnesia. You know what I'm saying? Even in our sleep state, it's still gonna be layered. So when we wake up, just like a glyph, you know what I'm saying? We talking about, okay, you know, the ancients and the elders and the ancestors, you know, they put these particular glyphs up as languages, as what? As signs and symbols that speak to your subconscious, and you also know how to decipher, right? It's a language. You feel me? And, you know, like we said, in this day and age, so is emojis. So is, you know, this condensed language that we use, the LOLs and SMH. And how are you ever able as a researcher in the future to deduce what that person's feeling was when they was using these non-linear things called emojis? You feel me? This always left up to interpretation. They're like, was he laughing with them or at them? Like,
So Blue, how do you feel? We live on. We're experiencing what we call planet Earth, and we have a certain language. How do you feel about? Let's say you leave planet Earth, right? Blue Pill leaves planet Earth. Let's say 40 years from now, 44 years from now, let's say 44, since that's your number. 44 years from now, you leave planet Earth, and all your writings are still intact. And 1,000 years from now, people take your writings, but they interpret it 44 different ways. So it's like you meant this. You're like, yo, boom, 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 alkaline diet, but somebody takes your information and interprets it 44 different ways based on their perspective of reality. How would you feel about that, since reality is based on perception in the first place? Do you think that we all take something and just interpret it from our perception? Or do you think that we should all have the same perception of what somebody said or did?
Yeah, the benefit of being in this space during this day, during this time, is that you have the ability through time to leave a very clear picture of what it is that you meant, how you meant it, right? We got all of these forms of media.
Blue, you can leave the clearest picture. People will still.
I'm just saying,
Blue,
they
I
are.
seen it.
Granted, they're bound to still take and do as so they please, right?
Look at Jesus. You don't think Jesus left the Jesus, who we call Jesus? Nigga, this nigga said, what I did, y'all could do. They still don't understand. Like, nah, he ain't say that. He ain't mean that. We can't be Jesus. Nah, that's impossible. That's the best example. Go ahead. I'm sorry, my brother. Go ahead.
Yeah. But when you deify someone, you know what I'm saying? You make that assignment seem very far and out of reach for certain people.
Yeah.
Right? The way for Christianity to work is they have to see Jesus as a deified figure who's able to do something that was quote unquote considered non-human. You feel me?
Yeah.
And you know, let's use the story of Jesus in the Bible as an analogy for the story of Earth, right? Yeah. To say, if Earth is such a perfect place and its position so mathematically precise that it came into fruition or physical existence when it did, to lock itself into this orbit as a round ball where now it is going around the sun in a particular way and it grows life. That's the mathematical precision to do that is unprecedented in the scope, right? But let's say that, boom, that happened. It didn't happen. Even if they said that it existed before the beginning of the universe, it had to take time, right, to manifest, to work, to wait for the perfect time. So, okay, we're saying God is cognizant of time, right? Because if we go into biblical scripture, right, he didn't start the existence of man with Jesus. He sent Adam. He sent somebody that he didn't even know, obviously, because God can't possibly know everything to give man decision to make choice. And the first choice he make is a fuck up, right? So how could you not know? Did you have a parallel outcome for us if he would have did something different? And I'm saying, if that was the case, why not send Jesus from the jump? Right? So he waited and failed forward with multiple civilizations that he had to scrap, right? That doesn't sound like the most knowledgeable person to me whose script is going as planned. Later, way later, only 2021 years ago, does he decide, oh shit, I done exhausted all of my other options. I done sent in Team 6 and they couldn't figure this shit. I gotta send my only begotten. Like, damn, where was he at? All this time. Right? So there's mad questions to ask. Just like Earth. Why did it show up when it did? Because what is the official birth record? Scientifically, it's 4.3 billion years. You know, the studies will tell you it's a certain trillions of years old, but it's still not the beginning of time. It's still not Big Bang.
Do you ever feel strange? Does it ever feel strange, Blue? They say the sun is the giver of all life, right? And they be like, you lay in the sun, and it's almost like a lot of people worship the sun. They're like, oh, sun, Ra, give me your rays. Oh, Ra, thank you for life. Thank you for your, and they're like worshiping the sun almost. But then another group of people say, yo, you existed before the sun, moon, and the stars. So it's almost like you're like, oh, it's like, imagine you have a son, and then you're like, oh, son, you know what I'm saying? But you his father. So it's almost like you the father of the sun that we see in the sky.
Well, the lessons will tell you that if you are older than time itself, right?
But does it feel strange to you? That's what I know.
If like, there was no time when man was not, right? That's what the lessons say. Yeah. You feel me? Yeah, you put it in a perfect analogy. Yeah. So you are the father of that particular, you are father time in that regards. To say, yeah, I'm marveled by my son. You know what I'm saying? The same way that you will be marveled by your son. I seen video the other day. I was looking at ESPN clips, and dude took his son out. You know, his son was 2 years old, and he hit the homer. He didn't hit the homer, but he connected. Boom! And the father just became so gleeful. You could see that excitement in the father that he sees for his son, that he's like, yo, his son probably got something to do, or his son probably completed something that the father never had the opportunity to do. And now he's seeing his ability possibly to vicariously live through this young man who might get it, who he can now become the teacher and the trainer and the coacher of. You know what I'm saying? I seen the same thing the other day when I seen a Tiger Woods documentary, and his father was so fervently proud of young Tiger. Tiger was 2 years old doing putts on Johnny Carson. Okay? And he was sinking them. And his father couldn't be prouder of his son to the degree that he was telling white folks that his son was sent to change race relations on this planet. Some crazy shit he was talking about. And Tiger was like, nigga, I like white women, chill. Like, I ain't even measure my oats yet, and you already signed me up for DEFCON 3. It's like, chill, homie, let's talk about this. Feel me? Crazy. So that type of zeal and fervor that a father had for their seed, you know what I'm saying? It's the same excitement that we have for the thing that we don't understand the composition of the universe. So we think that we just born here and we're experiencing the sun. No, nigga, you created it. For you to experience it in paradise. You on vacation, my nigga, right? You're laying down, taking a vacation after 1 million years of nonstop marathon running.
Nigga, how you said that? You want? Oh, I like how you said it. After 1 million years of nonstop marathon running, you on vacation? Go, Blue bag. Come on, talk to them, Blue. Come on, talk to them, Blue.
Paradise. Right?
Talk to them, Blue.
You created this paradise to experience yourself in a prolonged nap.
Prolonged nap.
The same way that when we go to sleep, you know what I'm saying? I just be, my dreams be popping.
Yo, Blue, I think you got the best quotables out of anybody I ever met in my life. I'm writing that down. Hold up. I'm writing this down, y'all. Prolonged nap. I write down, I've never met anybody I write down that quote so much. I write down a lot of.
It's not just the gold water. You know what I'm saying? It's not just the gold water. My dreams be so vivid, and when I speak about them, other people speak about their vivid dreams. So I have a tendency to think that a lot of people are experiencing the vivid dream state, right? This is the opposite of the Twilight Zone. The shit is not in black and white and gray. It's colorful. So that's life in a nutshell. You're taking a prolonged nap after a million years of running laps. You know what I'm saying?
Amazing, man. Yo, I mean, you dropping in blue. I definitely appreciate it. I want to get to something real quick. Damn, I don't see it right now. Give me a second, family. I'm gonna see if I can find it.
Yeah. Rest in peace.
Humpty Hump. What's the name? Shock G.
Humpty Hump. Man, he continue, to rise in power. If nothing else, what we are experiencing is a revisit of the 90s. You know what I'm saying? For the people who we champion growing up or making a transition. You feel me? And it's having us relive and revisit those moments. So if that person was responsible for aiding and assisting you in a good moment, memory, right? Or you have received memorabilia from that experience, celebrate the life and the legacy, play the music, speak about the good moments, you know what I'm saying? And if you've had conflicting and bad moments with these people, now would be a good time to attempt to make some sort of amends spiritually, with that being before they take off after 72 hours. They out of here. If they're not earthbound. But continue to lift, the spirit of that brother by saying thank you for the time, the times that he did give us. He was the source of much comic relief when shit was very real out here, bro. Like we couldn't, there was nothing else really to laugh about in hip hop. You know what I'm saying? Not everybody gravitated to the Fresh Prince. That wasn't their toaster, their cup of tea. Everybody did the Humpty dance though. Okay. That shit came on regularly on Video Music Box. Shout out to Ralph McDaniels. And he was telling young niggas to do what they like after school. It was important. Humpty's part of our narrative. You know what I'm saying? It was like the West Coast Slick Rick to some degree. You feel me? If you understand.
No, facts.
Slick Rick, he put color to a lot of narratives as well. Look, bro, we talking about amazing storytellers, man. This brother over my shoulder, Nasir Jones, you know what I'm saying? We talking about profound storytellers, people that can weave the English language into descriptive sentences that paint pictures and have crystallized, right, themselves with you in your memory lane, right? The shit is fixed into your neural cortex. You can't do nothing with it, and you can't do nothing without it, nigga.
Indeed.
Do what you like. Right? Shout out to Shock G, man. Like,
shout out to Shock G, definitely.
Yeah, man.
Part of my childhood.
How many, keep it real with me, y'all. Like, how old was you until you realized that Shock G and Humpty was the same person? Somebody had to tell you that.
For real. For those coming in late, I don't know what happened to my brother Billy Carson. Yeah, I guess I have him on another broadcast, but he didn't pick up. I'm sure the brother's probably asleep because the brother's extremely tired from everything he got going on. But we had to keep the show going. The show never stops. We had to keep it going with just my brother Blue Pill. And besides that, make sure, family, don't feel shy to donate. I got the Cash App on the screen. It's very important. I know I just got suspended from YouTube. Like I said, something's coming down the line. I just got to get the right message from the spirit realm, and I haven't gotten that yet in terms of what to do, because it gotta be something special. It can't be just your emulation of YouTube, or it gotta have its own style to it or whatever. But shout out to everybody who supports all my Patreons. I don't know if my super chat is not working because I didn't get one super chat yet. I know everybody else get their super chat, so I don't know. But shout out to everybody who supports, regardless. My Patreons. I think I got one person who sent the cash up. I don't want to say a name. I don't want to forget because people like when they support to say their name. It's taking too long to come on, family. Hey, but besides that, listen, Blue. Oh, I want to get to this because I want to shout out to Mr. G. Ella, my homegirl Ella, she been on the show before. She says Rich looks younger. Shout out to Ella, one of the best when it comes to herbs. She was a student of Dr. Laila Africa. Yo, Ella, let me tell you, Ella, I want to get you back on the show soon. I want that feminine energy, that female energy. But Mr. G, shout out to Mr. G. Yo, Blue, Mr. G gave me this something he got from Honduras. I don't want to say the name yet, but Mr. G gave me some shit. Well, shout out to Aisha D. Thomas for the Cash App donation. Yo, Blue, Mr. G ain't no joke. He went to Honduras.
He the man.
This nigga came back to Brooklyn. He hooked me up. So we about to I tell you, I'm coming out with this website called Black Business VIP, and we're gonna form our own line of products with the skin products. So It's interesting. Ella said that, but the skin products is something he bought from Honduras. I've been using for the last week.
Okay.
This dude, yo, he came back with some shit. Yo, Blue, we got some shit for the skin.
I'm trying to tell you.
Blue, we got some shit. They don't want yo. Shout out Mr. G, shout out my brother. I hope you listen. If you're not, we coming for them, Blue, with the skin products. So Ella, I'm glad you said that. Ella, I'm glad you said that.
Flawless. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, shout out to Mr. G, man. He again coming back with treasures. Yo, these are different times, man. It's no ceilings. There's so many things lining up and consolidating. You know, people is coming. Yo, fortunes. I'm telling you, like. They got a brother, you know, I went out to Arizona on my mission with the crystals to really infiltrate the industry and make some connects at the mining level. And I did that only to come back, you know, and get a phone call about a brother from Africa, the guy of mine that's up there right now with a cachet of the illest stuff, right? And, you know, like these opportunities are now all the way on the table where they're like, yo, come over, we need manpower, we need equipment, but we got the resources, we got these mines, we got this, we got that. You know, I mean, it's a $1 trillion industry. You feel me? And you know, crystals are the underlying power source of everything. You know, there would be no cryptocurrency if it wasn't powered by the technology that's powered by crystals. So even now, there's a chip shortage in these industries, in the big tech industry, you know, and that's slowing things up. And these people is, you know what I'm saying? They're gonna start getting very aggressive about access to these resources. So, you know, we need to be where it counts the most. You feel me? And where we have the best ability, you know, not only to form bonds of solidarity based on the fact that we got melanin in our skin. It's like, nigga, let's do business. You feel me? Big business though. You know, let's do business on an industry level. And, you know, I mean, what's more African than that? Right?
Facts.
And at this show, I'm telling you, 90% of the product come from Africa and come from Brazil. But it's all run by the Chinaman. Right? Shout out to Chinaman. You feel me? You know, there's so many narratives going on right now, brother Rich. You know what I'm saying?
A lot, my brother.
We ain't even
a whole lot.
Politics. We stayed in space. We honored the earth. You know what I'm saying? We're not speaking too much about what's going on top of the earth. You know, remember, like I said, people don't even live on earth, right? The majority of people live on cement. They're not even grounded in the earth. They haven't been physically in contact with the earth most of their life. They live 2 inches off of the earth. That's the matrix. They live in the biosphere of it, but they don't live on it. So we're taking time to
when you say that, you mean their feet aren't on the
Look,
people don't understand what your feet.
Yeah, they're standing on rubber soles first and foremost.
So with their shoes or their sneakers.
Electromagnetism cannot travel through rubber. So there's first they're standing on rubber soles. Then they're standing.
Is that something you said, or is that fact? I just want to make this clear. I just want to make this clear. So that's a fact. Say that again. I just want to make this fact, Blue.
Electricity
cannot
travel through rubber. That's why they have insulation, my nigga.
Thank you, my brother. Okay.
And there's a rubber soles too. So Congo is all the way in play because Congo is coltan, Congo is cobalt, Congo is rubber. Y'all got some Congolese contacts, right? We need to holler at some Congolese uncles and get some lines and plugs to the mines, my nigga. Anyway, so rubber soles, right? Have you disconnected from the electromagnetism that is coming up from the earth that comes by way of the sun hitting the earth with the information, but by way of what? Solar winds and solar rays. Neutrinos, though, are piercing and penetrating any and everything in existence and going through everything. Now, remember, we were speaking about neutrinos all of last year. There's going to be some big information that me and the brother Al-Kibalon bring forward. I'm telling you, this book it's nothing like it on the planet. This
book is amazing.
I'm not
it's amazing.
Sell it, but it crazy. So, you know, they're not receiving the electricity or the downloads or the information or the connection right from the sun. You're wearing, you know, people are wearing hair hats and they're wearing wigs and they're wearing hats and everything else. So you're not even receiving the fullness of the sun hitting your temple. You're not absorbing it through your crown and you're not absorbing it through your feet. So you literally are just floating in space, right? Sure. And then if you're standing on concrete, right? Again, I tell people accumulatively, if I'm 40 years old, less than 1 year of my life, I have stood with the sole of my foot on the bottom of earth, right? Because even when you go to the beach, you wear slippers when you're walking on sand, my niggas. You feel me? Right, so at what point out of your day, through your daily, do you stand on the earth? You don't, right? You're standing on concrete. You're standing about 2 inches off of the earth. And that's how you live your life. And
so standing on the earth, Blue, I'm sorry, standing on the earth is the equivalent to plug in your computer. Say you plug your computer, the AC adapter in the socket.
Equivalent to plugging your phone in when it needs to be charged.
It's the equivalent, like no exaggeration. No exaggeration.
Your foot, the sole of your foot has all of the nerve endings that travel throughout your entire body. All of your organs, everything meets at the sole of your feet. So the way that you can energize and re-energize and nourish the body is through the bottom of the foot. Same way that if they want to apply certain medicines or herbs to you and you're like comatose, they'll do it through your feet because your feet will absorb, right?
You know what I thought about, Blue, when I seen the other day? I mean, I'm in Brooklyn. You know where I'm at. You right around me. When you're in New York, because you travel all over the world. They cut down a tree, Blue. So they cut down a tree, and it was just the bottom of the tree. Now, what if I stood on the bottom of that tree? Would that be the equivalent? Would that be even more powerful form of grounding if I stood? What's that called? A tree stump or whatever? Tree stump, yeah. Would that be powerful if I stood on that and grounded? Like, does that?
I definitely think that would be a better option than standing on concrete. You're gonna get more out of that than you are, through our everyday walk through the street. You feel me? But yeah, energy is gonna be coursing up through there. Definitely. You feel me? That's an entity. It's alive.
Yes.
Those rings got pores in them as well. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, Earth is to be experienced and enjoyed. I've been going out into nature more and just really reconnecting, really listening to the song of the birds every day. You know what I'm saying? Really looking in, just an observation, looking at insects and just how they interact, socialize, and all of these things that our ancestors always did. You feel me? Just being cognizant of our surroundings.
You know what it is, Blue? A lot of people feel as though, it's so peaceful and it's so tranquil and it's such a great peace of mind when we get involved with Mother Earth. and nature and Mother Nature.
Mm-hmm.
But a lot of people feel as though they look at the people with the bag and they say, the people with the bag, what are they doing? So if they don't hear the people with the bag talking about the stuff me and you are talking about, they look at it as a waste of time. But when they do start to hear them talking about it, they're like, oh shit, they do that. They rich. So a lot of people don't respect this until they're able to make a dollar benefit. People want to do what they benefit from, Blue. You get what I'm saying? So how can you convince people that this benefits them and they still broke financially, Blue?
You know, if people were able to entertain the idea or the thought that your ability to attract currency has something to do with your current, and the fact that if you raise your current, if you raise your vibration, if you raise how you feel and how you feel about yourself, then you have an ability to magnetize money. Hence the fact that money got a magnet on it. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
You should be able to attract it and draw it to you. The fact that you are chasing it, right? That's the thing that's burning you out.
Mm-hmm.
But when you get to a point that you can attract it, you know what I'm saying? Then, you know, you'll get to the point where you overburden with opportunities. Like, yo, I need another one of me. God damn it, I can't knock all of these things down.
Mm-hmm.
You feel me? And it's a process. It's not something that you just wake up and immediately get to. You know what I'm saying? But you can wake up and immediately, you know, get to some sort of game plan, at least writing out where you want to see yourself, right? Because you got to be able to see it in order to achieve it, right? Tupac told us that by way of shock. Gee, thank you. So, you know, you got to see it in order to achieve it. You feel me? Everyone is just not going to automatically wake up and be conditioned to do something totally different in their life. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, like, you know, even with the crypto thing, like, this is not something that you should be going into with your last ones. This is not, you know, this is not your last hoorah. You feel me? This is not you swinging for the fence either. This is you having some level of disposable income that you might consider an investment and putting in something that is gonna grow exponentially, but not necessarily right away. That you gotta have patience with. It's gonna teach you a whole different discipline that we've never been taught, and you know, it's just not in abundance where we come from. You know, these lessons to be like, yo, you gotta wait on it, son. You know what I'm saying? There's nothing that you can do to force it to go any faster than it is. Matter of fact, why are you even looking at it? You know, you leaving it there for 10 years, aren't you? That takes a lot of discipline for somebody that can't even see themselves, you know, what they're gonna do next year. They don't got plans for themselves next year, let alone 10 years from now. So it forces you to grow up and have a level of, you know, financial literacy so you can overcome financial insecurity. Because a lot of people are scared of money because they don't understand it. You know what I'm saying? And they scared to ask. So they brush things off and they put themselves in predicaments that ultimately is just it's totally against, you know, your well-being and what I would consider to be, you know, your determinant, the reason that you're here. You feel me? Like how you go is important. The shit registers. It was very important in Kemet and it's still important now. You know what I mean? Like you don't want to die in debt. You know what I'm saying? That's not good on the spirit, right? You don't want to get caught into these people's games. You know what I'm saying? Of how they got you as a debtor. You feel me? And you know, these contractual obligations that you make and you check up out of here and the shit still follow you. They want you to come back and serve it to next time because they got your signature or some shit. Like it's so many games that's being played, right? When the opportunity to be financially independent is before you. And I heard what Phil said, you know, he broke down about Bitcoin and, you know, I remember, you know what I'm saying, working on 55th and Madison. I worked at Epic, right, at the time when they was having the financial meltdown. And I remember sitting in my 21st floor window and looking, you can look over on Fifth Avenue, and they used to have these massive meetings with all of the CEOs from the banks, right? they had armed security because I used to have to walk up there to go get something to eat. So I would look at it through the window, and then I'm looking at the news and they talking about stuff, and then I'm going and walking up the block and seeing the energy there. I'm like, yo, I don't know what they cooking up. I'm like, they cooking up something mean in these meetings and these buildings and what have you. You know, and then they efficiently brought Obama in, you know what I'm saying, during that same period in time, and you know, October 31st, 2008, 5 days before he gets nominated, you know, Satoshi puts out the white paper announcing Bitcoin. And I'm like, okay, you got to understand the role that this cryptocurrency plays in terms of it being a rival asset class to something such as the dollar in the U.S. economy. So if they did not create it, then it's an act of war that they already lost. And if they did create it, then it's a psychological act of war, you know what I'm saying, that they also potentially already lost, because how do you control all of these other altcoins, right? Or people's ability to get resources with them? It depends on what you consider to be the end game. So I am interested in facts talking about, you feel me? Because people are still waking up to abundance. People are still waking up to illiteracy. People are still waking up to responsibility. People are still waking up to now be able to see themselves 10. If you can see yourself 10 years, you can see yourself 100 years. You know what I'm saying? And I'm like, prior to that, yo, money, cash, hoes wasn't getting them there. That era, my friends, is dying. Like literally. You know what I'm saying? The representation of that era is dying with that era. So when cash dies, it's gonna take a lot of shit with it. Right? Or this concept of solvency. Why? Because people have based their entire existence on a dollar bill, bro. Right? Not currency in general, not the yen, not the pound, nigga, the dollar.
Yes, sir.
So if the dollar died, guess who died with it? Niggas' dreams, goals, and aspirations. And a small percentage is gonna be able to shift. And a larger percentage is gonna get caught in the shift because they are emotionally invested, right, in the success of a fiat currency as a determinant for their existence, my G, right? Even to the point where you can buy access to somebody's portal to go to space, right, with a dirty, dusty dollar. You feel me? People do something strange for some change to this day.
Yes, sir. Definitely. Right? Blue shit. You ain't got to tell me.
We've yet to see what it's gonna make them do for some Bitcoin and some.
Hey, Blue. Getting back to the whole Earth. You know, it's Earth Day, or it was. No, it's still Earth Day. It's 11:50. According to Greek mythology, from what I know and from what I've read and listened to, Zeus overthrew. We all heard about the Olympians and the Titans.
Yes.
Zeus overthrew the Titans and used the dust from the Titans to make man. Now, shit, we call it mythology, but
all right.
Yes, just like Obey. So, how does that apply to who we are? Because we don't understand mythology correctly.
Yeah.
So how does that apply if Zeus used the dust from the Titan? Who the fuck is the Titans? Who's Olympians? Who's Zeus? And how do you make man from dust from these so-called Titans, Blue? Could you elaborate on that a little bit, my brother?
In an anthropomorphic sense, right? The Titans are the planets, right? Anthropomorphized in physical beings in these narratives or these mythos, but they represent bodies, right? Titans, they represent the planets. So the way that you make man out of dust is man is made out of stardust, the same thing to make up planets. You feel me? So it's just a mythological personification of something that if you was to envision, damn, what would it look like with God sprinkling stardust onto Earth to make a being that is composed of these particular components, the stardust? That's what you would come up with. right? You're not going to tell it like a scientist. Niggas wasn't learning like that back then. We trying to confine their level of learning to our level of teaching. It don't work like that, Jack. You feel me? They was telling stories. They was telling mythos. They was putting cloth on shit. And these concepts are cyclical. They repeat themselves. You know, so we're seeing the modern day context of mythos play out right in front of us. And we stuck in the past, you know, attempting to interpret that. And it's like, yo, don't get lost in the modern day ones, because they act as a bridge to the past. Like, all of this shit is happening simultaneously. You know, this is quantum right now. Past, present, and future. Where my dogs at? Right?
Okay.
Yeah.
So is Zeus the father of this matrix, since he's the one that destroyed the Titans, overthrew the Titans?
Yeah. I mean,
and they say they say they got Jesus from Zeus. They just put a J on it, and Jesus, Jesus, you know what I'm saying?
But again, you know, look at it like this, right? And stories are being told and they're being refracted through different lenses based on time. You know what I'm saying? Boom, 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 boom. So this Zeus lens that you speak of represents a time, an epoch of time, right? Told through a particular lens of a people who were experiencing, right, their rendition of an ancient narrative that had been going on prior to that. They had different names and different cloth. Right, because it was observed through a different lens, right? So we might be identifying with the Zeus narrative, but that comes from somewhere as well. So it goes even back further into the ancient. So in Kemet, it will be what? Khnum, who was making the body out of, he was the potter. He was making bodies out of clay. He made man out of clay. You know what I'm saying? And Zeus would be Jupiter, and his father would be Osset. Kronos, right? Saturn. It was Osset in Kemet, right? It was mother time. She's the one who what? Has the cycle. She's the keeper of time. She catalogs time.
Hold on, you said mother time. I thought it was father time. Hold on.
I'm trying to explain to you.
Yeah, that's why I know, but I want you to explain. I know, but go ahead.
Yes.
What do you mean by mother time? People used to father time.
Yes, but before there was father time, because that's a present day narrative based on a present day mythos, which is Greco-Roman. What is much older and ancient than that it was derived from, that it came from, was Cometian mythos, Cometian narrative. And in that particular narrative, right, Zeus would be Jupiter. Jupiter would be Osar, right? Saturn is Kronos, but Kronos was Osset back in the day. So Osset was she was over Saturn as a body, as an entity. So it wasn't the father of time, it was the mother of time. And she was the one who she was the keeper of time based on the fact that she had 28-day cycles for 13 moons. You feel me? She kept time, right? You can keep time with her. You can literally tell time by following her cycles. So, you know, again, the further we go back, you know, then we're able to make these connections and make sense of the mythos and see where it got twisted and turned. And as a result, where we are at mentally based on and being underneath that indoctrination.
Blue, you hear me?
Yeah, I hear you.
My fault. I'm sorry. Billy just called me. He just like I said, he fell asleep. He coming on right. Yo, family, y'all think this is? I'm sorry to interrupt, Blue. Y'all think this is a joke? What we do? We do a lot behind the scenes. So the brother fell asleep, but he's coming on right now. But go ahead, Blue. We're ended. Me and Blue ask some questions. But go ahead, Blue. Finish up what you were saying.
That is, you know, that's the dribble. That's the download of that narrative.
Nah, definitely.
You can literally Google that shit. You feel me?
Yeah.
You can literally Google it. So the grand conjunction, based on how you were looking at it, It was either a war story or a love story. The war story would be what? Kronos, the father, fighting his son Zeus, which is the mythological narrative that they always tell you about the pairing of Jupiter and Saturn, right? Or it could be the love story of Orset and Osar coming back together, right? Boom. At the conjunction, leading right into Sirius being at her exalted height. 10 days later on the 31st, right? So I would rather follow that narrative, especially to see where we are at on the other side of things. Whereas the war narrative, I'm seeing it play out later in January of that year when now the children eat the father on Wall Street. There was a difference. You never saw that before. You've only seen the father, Kronos, Saturn, eat the children. Now you saw the children come back and eat the father. And you saw the system get penetrated in 3 different ways. Financially, with the Wall Street bets, cyber attacked, right? So security got attacked. And then this motherfucking, the rotunda, the Capitol, the dome, the circle got penetrated, right? Penetrated by the foot soldiers, by the children again, right? These are not the king's men. These are not people of the royal court. These are the peasantry, right? So, you know, the solvency of what we considered this, because every country is personified as a woman.
Yes.
Right? So with the solvency that we perceive this woman to have, that shit, you know, she got me too. No disrespect. I'm just saying, I'm making a comparative narrative. A comparative narrative, not like that one.
Hey, Blue, you know what Kambada said? Hey, Blue, you know what?
Narrative.
Hey, Blue, you know what Kambada said in our first song we ever did together, Black Magic? He said, Earth's a thought, her twat is rotten. He said that Earth's a thought, her twat is rotten. He said that in our first song, Black Magic.
I know it.
Take it how you want to take it, family. Take it how you want to take it.
Want to take it. We can take an analytical look at it and say in 2019, you know, people stood idly by while the lungs of the planet in Amazon, Brazil were burnt. Yeah. You know, for cattle farming, for the shit that we was indulging in while we was eating the chicken sandwich. The same company that owns KFC and Popeyes and all of that, you know, they're the same companies that are cattle farmers, and they were raising those livestock in Brazil, utilizing all of that charred land that burnt down the Amazon. Yeah, so you take what's taking place in the Amazon with the lungs of the earth collapsing in 2019, and then you look at what? Inclement climates and the fact that glaciers are melting. To the surface.
Okay, good,
yeah. These different bacteria are coming to the surface because the water is now melting because of the glaciers and everything else, and these particular waters warming up. But they never speak about Fukushima. What part does Fukushima and dump radiation water have to do with the oceans warming up? Why come they'll never make these connections?
Right.
You feel me? So if Kambada says yes, the earth is a dot, you know, twat is rotten, there's a perspective to that we would have to pay attention to say, well, how do the people that are in the Amazon isolated from population, they said that they were the cause of the variant in Brazil? How? Right? So it has to be something, maybe it's something coming out of the jungles that society has never been in contact with, because the jungles acted as the lungs of the planet.
The lungs of the planet.
You attack the lungs of the planet, now the lungs of the people become attacked. How is that a
coincidence? As above, so below.
Can you touch on that, Billy, please?
Micro, macro.
Hey, what's up? What's up?
First of all, family, I want to welcome Billy to the show. Billy to the show. Yes. Billy, I know you're a busy man. So
I'm already in the shirt. I had to put on the doggone Star voice so I could hide these red eyes, man. Listen.
What's up?
Oh, how y'all doing? What's up, Blue Pill? What's up, man? What's up, Rich?
Peace, brother. Peace.
All right.
Yeah. It's been an incredible year already. Oh my God! If people knew the amount of things I was working on, they'd probably pass out. Wow!
Hey,
But
Billy. So what you think about the aspect of as above, so below? We talk about it. You talk about fractals a lot. So
right.
Blue Pill just talked about, you know, what happened a couple of years ago in the Amazon of Brazil.
Right. 2019.
That's 2019. That's the lungs of the planet.
Right.
And now the lungs of the planet within the people of the planet are being affected.
Right. Yeah, it's really amazing. I mean, Blue Pill touched on some things that was really crucial in terms of the jungle and even the aspect of the radiation and how we live in a system where if one thing is slightly off, everything is thrown off. You know, I remember I used to work with this guy for this company a long time ago. This guy was training me on how to help people with their foreclosed properties. And he was, a Caucasian gentleman, but he had mastered something called check kiting. And one week he couldn't pay me, and I don't have your money this week. We had a situation. I'm like, a situation? Like, I did the work. I went and knocked on these doors. I got these, these deposits and everything else. Like, I don't understand. Like, where's my money? And he said, well, man, just sit down. Let me explain it to you. So he was check kiting when he had this system going, this ecological system with checks where he would write checks that didn't have from one bank that didn't have the money in it to send it to another bank. And back then, I guess the bank would give you credit against that check, and then he would take a check from that bank and put it to another bank that didn't have money in it yet, and so forth and so on. And by this method, he had this round robin of money that didn't even exist going in a circle, and he was using a certain amount of money out of these particular banks every single day to keep running and functioning his business and pay his bills and everything else. Well, this one week, he actually had a situation where one of those banks caught on and stopped the one check from going through. And when that one check stopped, the whole check kiting system that he had set up collapsed. And so this is what we're really talking about here, just using an analogy, but what we're talking about here when we're dealing with the Amazon, you have just one thing that becomes, removed from the equation. And like you say, the lungs of the planet, the whole thing is going to stop. There's going to be one last deep breath at some point, and it's going to stop. And so when you're looking at, like I was just doing this show with Discovery Channel, where we have to find out what happened to missing people in the Amazon. As people are coming up missing, it's indigenous people are coming up missing.
Right.
And we were analyzing it. We're analyzing these storms and how the severity of the storms are all of a sudden increasing in different areas and regions that to an intensity never even seen before. And so this is another sign, though, of what you say. One thing is slightly off. They're finding radiation inside of cow's milk and goat's milk all over the planet. And it's becoming more the radiation that's being found in the breast milk of different types of mammals in areas like rainforests like the Amazon. They're trying to figure out where is this radiation coming from. The radiation is coming from the Fukushima. So what happens is we have a rain cycle on this planet, and that's back to cycles again. You have Fukushima. Double containment reactor breaks, which shouldn't even be allowed to happen, but it does happen. Double containment reactor breaks. You have the radiation flooding into the oceans. And now you have evaporation of the oceans, just a normal process of nature on this planet. So now we have evaporation. So we have all that radiation being evaporated back up into the sky. It goes into clouds. It travels around the planet. Of course, rainforests, they call them rainforests for a reason. They generate the most rain on the planet. So all that condensation is evaporating back into the sky, moves over to another location, pours down rain. So in areas where there's heavy rain, there's heavy levels of radiation now. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? So all of a sudden you're drinking, you think you're doing a good thing. You breastfeeding your baby, or but really the animals that are eating directly from the plants in the ground and the plants in the forest, they're now increasing all their levels of radiation. The plants have higher levels of radiation. And so now everybody's coming down with these cancers, dying young and everything else. Nobody can figure out what's happening. Well, you know, the cycle's been broken. The cycle's been broken. And so, yeah, man, we have to. I just did an interview with Dr. Stephen Greer the other day, and he agrees with something that you know, one of the things that I've found through research and investigation is that this planet, first of all, is conscious. This is a conscious entity that we're inhabiting. We're living on top of, you know? Yes. And this conscious entity has been empathetic to mankind. It's been kind to us. And it literally has been giving us time and time, chance after chance after chance after chance. And it's been holding back its wrath from just literally shaking us off the surface, which can happen because we know for a fact that this planet has gone through 4 pole shifts of the crust of the earth before. This is documented now because we can analyze the tectonic plates and reverse them. We can also analyze the magnetic frequency that's inside of the lava flows on the planet. And we can tell every time that the Earth's north and south pole is literally flipped. And so we're coming to a time now with the next, I would say, maybe 20 to 30 years max. Dr. Greer starts to say maybe 15, that we're looking at a situation where if we don't get our act together consciously on this planet could go for a reset of itself, you know, and say, look, you guys had your shit, you had your chance, you had your time in the sun. We got to start this ship over again because right now, you know, I'm hurt, you know. And that's why if you dig for oil and then, you know, you mine that oil and you drain that oil well, dry of oil, come back 10 years later, there'll be oil there again. Why? Because oil is the blood of the earth. It's abiotic fluid. The earth is producing oil. Oil not from dead dinosaurs and dead leaves and all this kind of crazy organic material. Oil is what the earth, it's the blood of the earth. It's producing oil on its own. Just like it's producing other raw materials and other ores on its own. And that's why you can keep mining this planet almost literally in perpetuity, and you can never run out of stuff because why? The earth is actually creating this stuff. Just like your body, it creates blood. So if I take you to the doctor and I have you do a blood test and he drains some blood out of your body, well, okay, you'll say, well, don't lift weights for 24 hours and make sure you take some fluids and blah, blah, blah. And so, yeah, you a pint or two less, but in 36 hours, you got a full body of blood again. Same exact thing going on.
And you're like, where did it come from? But your body produces it.
Exactly. Body produces it. Yeah.
Wow. Hey, once again, family, Billy has finally joined the show, man. Welcome, Billy. Billy, you came in swinging, man. I appreciate you came in swinging, man. You came in and you dropped some science real fast, man. So the people ain't mad because of the science you just dropped. They loving it, man. I appreciate you coming on, my brother. I know how it is being an entrepreneur. You got millions to juggle, so
yeah.
I know that had
I was like, no, I can't. I gotta get on there with Blue, man. I've been wanting to get on the show with Blue for so long. I'm not gonna lie, man. I was like, oh my god. I see people text me from your show. Text me. Some of your people got my number now. They be texting me. Oh shoot, Vestina's texting the crap out of me. Let me get my. I jumped up. I said, oh man. But yeah, man, I appreciate the opportunity and time to be on your platform because the people, man, your people are so good and respectful, man, and they really they support a lot, you know, and they want to know, they want to learn, man. They're here to learn.
They definitely, I can't say that about my platform. They definitely want to learn. I want to ask y'all this. We got about, I'm gonna extend the show for about 30 more minutes, y'all. We got 30 minutes, then we got to wrap it up. We hear from the Dogon about how we're talking about Earth, and we hear about how important Sirius is to Earth. How important Sirius is to the rest of the universe? If Sirius is important to Earth, and we a lot of our holidays, July 4th, Christmas, a lot of our holidays is predicated around Sirius rising or Sirius doing this or doing that. How important is Sirius to the rest of the universe? Is it so important to Earth?
Oh man, well, you're talking about a concerto now. This is a concert, you know, and there's a conductor, and so. You know, if you're Hans Zimmer and to me, one of the greatest composers of all time. And I mean, all his music is used in every major new media, especially science fiction.
Definitely, yes.
But if one instrument is off, if one instrument is missing, one person decides not to pick up that cello or that violin, the whole concert is going to be off. The whole theme is going to be slightly off. And so, again, this is as above, so below. Looking at it from that method or from that idea or ideology, you're thinking about Sirius is directly affecting Earth and a lot of the things that we do here because we have been given the understanding or the knowledge and the wisdom of those cycles of time in that trinary solar system. They have a trinary because they have 3 suns, A, B, and C, and they maneuver around each other in a specific way. We live in a binary solar system where we have 2 suns. We have a brown dwarf star that's been now added to the history books that orbits our yellow sun once every 4,200 years, and it has 6 planets orbiting it. And so we have a binary, and then they have a trinary, and the gravitational fields are affecting in both ways. Now, what people don't realize is astronomy is, I'm going to use this for the understanding, because astronomy is when people will tell you if you're born on this day with this moon and this house and all this other kind of stuff, right? You have all these different effects. You're going to be this kind of person. You're going to think like this, and you're going to act like this, and you're going to work like this. And some people think that astrology. I meant to say astrology. I'm sorry, astrology. Or people think that astrology is like witchcraft or some fake thing. No. And the reason why I'm stopping here to go to this because I want people to understand how this Sirius directly affects the universe. So if I'm into space biology, and so I take frogs' eggs with me to the International Space Station, and now I take those tadpoles and I analyze them in 0 gravity. So now the gravity is missing to a certain extent from the Earth's pull, and now I'm analyzing these tadpoles developing under 0G, and then I'm also impregnating other animals and trying to see how those things develop at the embryonic stage all the way to the full-grown stage. What I'm finding out as a scientist, or they're finding out as scientists, is that the amount of gravity, the location of planets, moons, and so forth, actually have a direct effect on the development of the embryo in the embryonic stages and in various stages of the growth process to becoming a full-grown adult. So they even noticed psychological differences in these particular animals after they were born, different tendencies and so forth. So now if you move that from the science laboratory into the real world, you're here now, your mother giving birth to you, and above you, you have Sirius A, B, and C in a particular position in the sky. You have the Pleiades in a particular position in the sky. You have Aldebaran, you have Beta Reticulus, you have Orion, and all these different constellations in different positions, Leo or whatever. And all of those are having a percentage of an effect on the embryonic development in that stage. And even the where the tilt of the Earth is versus where the moon is, and all these things happening, the sun and everything else at the same time, all those particular alignments and all those particular fields of energy are, because it's really waves of energy is what gravity is, they are directly affecting the development of the embryonic stage. And so at certain times of the year, if you track this long enough, it's over every single day of the year, for many, many months and many, many years, you'll find that people that are born on these particular days, on these particular time frames, have these particular mannerisms, and so forth. And so over many thousands of years, this can actually be tracked if that becomes the main focus. You discover that people born in September, I'm born in September, right? September the 4th. I'm a Virgo. You discover that Virgos have these particular tendencies and work.
September 17th.
Okay, there you go. And so all of a sudden it's like, wow. And so somebody reading their astrology for the first time is like, that's me. Well, of course it's you, because it's been tracked for so long and it's been documented. The gravitational field. So when they say you're born under this and that and this star and blah, 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 what they're saying is, in scientific terms, is what they're saying is you're born under this, under these gravity energetic fields. And so these gravitational energetic fields have altered your view from the embryonic stage up until a certain amount of time in your life and have given you these characteristics. That's what they're saying. So you take Sirius out of the equation, it's going to change the astrology chart for people moving forward, at least just even not only just on this planet, but anywhere else that has an effect in the universe. It's going to change and alter characteristics of embryos for any living sentient beings that are being born. That's how powerful it is.
Indeed. Blue, you want to add on to that before we continue?
I mean, yeah, he pretty much summed it up. You know, if Sirius is our sun behind our sun, then the light that comes from Sirius, our ancestors always orientated themselves to make observations of that particular light, right? To absorb that light, that intelligence, the information that comes from that part. So it's key, it's vital. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, absolutely.
And
absolutely.
You know, our ancestors, they said that that was the transmigration of the soul. That when you made transition, your soul goes back from whence it came. So it comes from the black sun through the sun here. And as he says, you know, those particular measurements of how light refracts and hits you, if you think of yourself as a crystal, right? Because human design speaks like this. They speak about two crystals. You know what I'm saying? And the light refracts and hits at a particular angle, and that's how that crystal is affected. And, you know, like he explained, you know, they're able to track that energy by the positioning of where that planet was at and the influence that the planets have on personalities. Again, as I said, if we are physical representations of what celestial bodies did, he just said what? Are spheres that make music, right? They're making music. These are spheres of music. So those chords, right, and that vibration, these are the things that are calibrating the song that you make.
Yeah.
Okay. And that's your relationship to the universe, right? Because what? You are made of stardust. So if those planets are made of the same thing, how can they not have an effect on your magnetic being?
Exactly. Yeah.
Because what? They say that the sun communicates to us through solar winds, right? And we interface and interact with solar winds with our what? Magnetic fields, right?
Yeah.
You interface with the sun solar winds by way of your magnetic field. And this is how you're interacting and interfacing. So why wouldn't the sun behind the sun have a physical effect on you or determine it? Right? So
yeah, absolutely, man.
Powerful, man. Yeah, definitely powerful. Hey, family, let me get a few questions from y'all before we get out of here. I definitely want a few questions from y'all. You know,
again,
I got it.
You know, this is still why we make this connection to the DMX narrative, right? And how it fits into the mythos, right? I don't want to be a literalist. I want to be understood as someone who is interpreting mythology, even in real time, right? Because he's the dog. He represents Sampu. He represents the underworld. You know what I'm saying? He is the dog star hip hop, and he makes transition in the Dogecoin goes to the moon.
Yeah.
You feel me? And all of these other dog themes start arising, Safe Moon and everything else. So it's like, you know, and Sirius is active right now. It's visible in the skies.
Yeah.
And, you know, so I'm like, look towards the dog days. It's going to be an interesting summer, you know, to say the least.
Yeah.
Feel me? And you know, there's other things that we can look towards. You know, again, when we get into the gematria and we get into the numbers and just how the numerology played out, you know, this is somebody who they say is shifting, you know, these celestial waters up there. This brother made a big impact. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And, we're seeing a lot of, you know, these icons, these rappers, these physical manifestations and representatives of eras and epochs make transition. You feel me?
Yeah.
Like, this is not a random occurrence. This is the mythos playing itself out beautifully, nonetheless. So, you know, my motto, everything is all good at all times, even in the face of opposition, because shit, somebody's happy about the outcome at any given time and always. So just find where the frequency of everything being all good at all times is and living
Right.
You know, this is something I want to bring. Well, I didn't want to bring it up, but it's something I heard before. Somebody in the chat room said it's kind of out there for a person hearing it, and they'd be like, they're crazy. But they said bitch equals high priestess from the dog star. I mean, now, to average person hearing that, they're like, "Oh, you niggas done lost your mind."
I broke this down.
How do they come up with that conclusion? I've heard it before. How does bitch equals high priestess from the dog star?
Because I broke this down several times on this program. That I said, what if Offset? Again, we going back to Offset. Because really, I was explaining to him that before Saturn was represented by Kronos, or considered the father of time, and Kemet, the narrative was Offset was Saturn, right? It was mother time, and Jupiter was Osar. That's the ancient narrative that proceeds the Greco-Roman narrative. Because she's the keeper of time by the fact that she has cycles. Yeah. Right? She has 28-day cycles for 13 moons. You understand? So she is the keeper of time. So that was just a misrepresentation of an ancient mythos. But when we go back a little bit further and we say what? That the dog star Osiris is represented by Osset. So if the dog star is a female dog and you call that definition a bitch, but the dog star is a female dog is also a set and she is the exalted, then what? Then the queen is also what? A bitch.
Bitch, yeah. Right. That's true, yeah.
If you remove your emotions from it, that's what it is.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So I said, what? Everything is all good at all times. Don't shoot the messenger.
Right. That's incredible. Now, I haven't been familiar with that term. That's the first time I actually heard it, but I do know that, like, for example, when the term queen, the title that we give queen, that it really means it means the king's whore back in the day. So I mean, a lot of this stuff is basically what we're the intention that we're putting behind it. If we're saying in a respectful manner, and we're trying to respect somebody, but if you do go deep into the root of the name queen or the title queen, it really means the king's whore. Yeah.
Even if you probably go deeper into the etymology of bitch, you can find a definition that probably precedes it, because they would do something like that to bastardize these terms and put and this is their version of put stops on particular words. We're gonna put a put stop on
stops. If you study the stock market,
like how you could say nigga was the put stop on their goose.
Right.
Nigga.
You right. Go near that.
Right. Exactly. Yeah.
I'm gonna put a radioactive moat between you and the gold. Like how you gonna get to it? So these words of power and these concepts and what they represent, especially on an astrological term, is just like, our people can't even get into Offset because of the connotation that it has to a female dog and a bitch. But we use that word very freely. Hence the fact, like I said, the Snoop Dogg and DMX battle happened when? On the last day of Cancer, going into Leo. Right? So, they lionized the mother. You know what I'm saying? And you heard more bitches in that battle than you've ever heard bitch.
Right.
And a standalone, But that's the mother at the same time. So in their dark demiurgic way, they're doing their job. Let me explain it like this, y'all. Right? We are passing through the darkest rift that this universe has ever passed through. The ancients call it Hanu Kub, right? So when you're going through darkness, the glyphs and the deities of this particular time they're going to look somewhat deranged. They're gonna have tongues hanging out, fangs, they're gonna have blood, and all of that shit is demiurgic. It's dark man X, right? Yeah. This is not the time for you're not gonna see the pristine shit. We're going through a dark rift in the universe. So the emanation of what looks deified is also going to be affected by the darkness.
But Blue, if the universe has been around for billions of years,
yes,
evolutionists, Darwinists, or whoever you want to call them, argue about it, billions of years. We in the darkest times now, out of billions of years.
No,
this
look,
is the darkest.
I'm talking about a part of the universe that we're traveling through. It's the dark rift, right?
Okay.
That article came out the other day and said what? They said we're traveling through remnants of an ancient exploded supernova. Right? What I'm telling you is the ancient the Olmecs, or what they call the Mayans, they got their information handed down from their mother civilization.
Yeah.
Right? They speak about this time period. Right? There's glyphs to show what this time period entails, right? This is the Kali Yuga. This is the Hanukkah. You're going through a dark period. Doesn't mean that dark things are going to necessarily... See, we make these connotations. Just because I'm saying something is dark matter or black matter or, you know, black or dark, we automatically have or think a negative connotation. Yeah. And I'm saying, yo, Bobby Hemmett helped that understanding a long time ago for us, to the students of the occult, to understand, oh, it's just the hidden. It's the dark side of the moon. Don't make it bad. Right. Look, everything is all good at all times, right? I'm not scared of the dark. You feel me?
Hey, Billy, I want to ask you real quick before we get to another question, because I asked this question of Blue earlier. You wasn't available, but I definitely want to hear your take on it. In terms, how can I say this? In terms of the ancient texts, I had a rap artist I was working with named Loaded Lux, a battle rapper, one of the biggest battle rappers out today, probably the most famous battle rapper out today, Loaded Lux. And in the song we did together, he said, "Soul over scrolls, the Lord's law was tainted." So when you, I know you've been to Egypt, you're studying the glyphs, you're studying the hieroglyphs. Yeah. When you study that, how much of that, when you study it and you research and you write your books and you do everything, how much of your soul do you use, and how much intellectual study do you use? Do you say, okay, they said this, I'm gonna say that? Because you know what we say today, 1,000 years from now, a person may say Rich was full of shit, Blue was full of shit, Billy spoke from his perspective, that wasn't right. So that it could be that same thing from what we're studying now. So what percentage do you use? Be like, okay, you know what? This is tainted, so I'm gonna go with my intuition, or I'm gonna just go with what they said. Talk to me, brother.
Well, the best way to really analyze something, I've done so many cylinder scrolls now, which the majority of them are in the British Museum. They're Akkadian and Sumerian cylinder scrolls. Yeah. Analyzed a lot of glyphs from all over the world, including the ones that I just came back from Australia at the beginning of 2020. The Proto-Egyptian hieroglyphs that we found out there in the middle of the outback. Well, I can't say we found them. We were led to them by the Aboriginal elders. We knew that they were out there. They led us to them. But so you begin, the more you look at these things, the more you study them and try to break them down and get an understanding of what that particular author was trying to put out, because these are made by authors. And you have to inject a certain percentage of your own perspective. It's automatically done. Your own perspective is injected, where somebody may go and see that writing and see those glyphs and come up with a basic idea of it, and think that it was some people that wanted to build a ceremonial burial ground and for their king. And I may come and see those same exact glyphs and relate that writing to something technological. And I may realize that they're really talking about taking their dead king into a sky ship and taking him back into space. So it's up to the interpretation, is really up to the person that's reading it. Now, for me, what my thing is, I always try to relate ancient text.
Yeah, Billy. Let's see if he come back. His feed got interrupted. Let's see. My brother comes back. His feed is interrupted right now. I guess yeah, he got totally disconnected. He'll come back on. In the meantime, Blue, let's answer a question from the people. Well, let's see if he come back on. In the meantime, let me see about a question from the people. My brother Blue Pill.
Someone's going in.
Yeah, definitely, man. Like, yo, me, you and Billy got to do something, man. The workshop or something. The combination of you and Billy, man, that's a good combination right there. Okay, here go the brother again.
Yeah, I don't know what happened.
Yeah, go ahead, brother. Good,
so,
yeah.
So basically, it's up to the interpretation of the person that's reading these glyphs. And from my perspective, since my mission really is, in my opinion, is to connect the ancient with the modern, and so that they were really sophisticated technological people, technocrats. My perspective probably is always injected in looking for the connection to technology and or advanced thinking. Whereas a lot of other people that read the same glyphs, if they're a mainstream, maybe they're a mainstream archaeologist, their connection is always trying to find the answer that fits into the mainstream narrative. Maybe somebody who's more into ancestral and indigenous wisdom might see it more as fitting in and cultivate it into fitting into that narrative. We're all probably a little bit right in some aspects, and we're all probably a little bit off in some aspects, But it does play a role. Your own perspective and how you feel about the ancient past, how you feel about things, always plays an important role in the outcome of what you're trying to decipher.
Facts.
Indeed, Billy, how do you feel? This question is personally to you. One of the one of the one complaints I get from people on my channel about you is they feel as though the way you present yourself, they think you're a part of the Illuminati, like the NASA. They think you're a part of this, like Billy don't believe in flat Earth. He's down with NASA. He's a part of that Illuminati, and he wants to trick us, and he works with them. Like, they really think you're a part of this space conspiracy to mislead us about what's going on in space. A lot of people also feel like we can't even go out in space. Like that's all. Like that doesn't even exist.
Yeah. I know. So, that's unfortunate. Listen, let me start off first. Let me say this very slow and clear. There are no Black people in the Illuminati. Let me say this once again. There are no Black people in the Illuminati. We're not invited. Hell, there's hardly any white people in the Illuminati. There's only a few white people, and that thing is so tight, ain't nobody invited to that party. Nobody. They're not bringing in this singer and this rapper. It's not an open club where you can get membership and join in. That's all stuff you see on YouTube videos for likes and views. Right. That is a very small, hand-picked group of people, and they keep that circle so small. It's a dot, okay? The people that run and control this planet. Now, are there other influencers and people that they utilize or manipulate for their own agenda? Yes. But those people, in most cases, are completely even unaware that they're being used and manipulated a lot of the times. So very rarely do they even have the awakening, oh, wow, I've just been pimped, But yeah, there's no Black people, and there's no cloned rappers. I'm sorry, there's no such thing as a cloned rapper. Nobody's out here cloning rappers. Gucci Mane is a real person that's not cloned. I bought a piece of land directly across the street from his house. He's actually a real person. He's alive over here in Florida. That wasn't cloned. That if you cut him, he bleeds. He got in jail and he exercised and he ate better and he worked out and he got in shape. We have to, as Black people, we got to stop. We fall for too many things. This flat Earth, which was brought to us by white people. We fall for this cloned rapper thing. We fall for this Black people going in the Illuminati. Jay-Z's in the Illuminati because he did this and all this kind of stuff. For whatever reason, not all Black people, because we're getting a lot better, but Black people, we are. But I tell one of my daughters, I have a daughter named, she's blonde. She's a natural Black blonde. And I always tease her because she's fickle-headed. And I tell her, I said, Bobby, you're so fickle here, like you're like a real blonde out here. You know, this is true. And so black people, because of our wanting to believe and wanting to be trusting so much, and really black people are the nicest people on the planet. And because of that, we fall for a lot of okie doke all the time. As soon as somebody brings something to us, man, if it just feels good to us, we run with it. And we'll run with it for hundreds of years, thousands of years, we'll run with it. And so it's something that we got to be a lot better at, because although we'll take information and run with it, we're some of the more forced researchers in the world. We take information, and the evidence of this is how the church has really blossomed under black patronage, right? So the pastor gets up there and he spits all these falsehoods and half-truths, and black people, we run with it. Even though their great-grandfather was just castrated, burned at the stake, whipped and beat. Their grandmothers were wenches and were raped and torn in half by horses, one string here, one string there. And then you think somebody's going to give you this religion to empower you? No, they give it to you to imprison you even deeper. And we run with it. And every time we get a music award, we get some type of accolade. It was God, it was Jesus. You know, we're still going to that handed down European white God that was given to us, and then we try to rationalize and say, well, in the Bible they were all black. Okay, well, let's analyze some of that then. If you really want to believe the people in the Bible were black, they enslaved each other, they enslaved other civilizations in the Bible, and they were torturous, murdering, killing, raping people. Read the book of Deuteronomy. Raping and killing each other. It says in the book of Deuteronomy, if you see a woman crossing through the field, you like her, you can rape her, and if you decide after you rape her, you can go ahead and make her your wife. That's in the book of Deuteronomy. So now all of a sudden, so you want to stick up and say, oh, we were all black in there. Okay, well, let's analyze this then. You want to be them people? Is that what you want to be? So we have to stop running away with all these crazy ideas. I could send you, Brother Rich, I could say, you go 3 miles down this road with this 3-foot stick and put it in the ground at 12 o'clock noon exactly. And I'm going to put mine in the ground where I'm located at 12 o'clock noon at the exact same time. Boom. And I'm going to call you on the phone and say, take a picture right now with your cell phone of the angle of the shadow 3 miles away. I'm going to take a picture of the angle of the shadow where I'm at right now at this exact moment. Then I can take those angled shadows off that stick, and I can measure the actual angle. And then once I get the angle, all I have to do is sit on a regular piece of paper or a computer, and I can calculate the circumference of the entire planet based off the arc of the 3-mile distance in the shadow of the stick. It's so easy to calculate these things. You have to be a genius. I can teach this to a kid in junior high school, basic mathematics and geometry. So we have to stop running away with all these crazy ideas on things without doing any research for ourselves. The problem that we have as a people is we take information that somebody hands to us, and we don't say, oh, let me write this down, and let me go really break this down and find out about this. Not a Google search, not a Wikipedia search. How deep do you go in your research? Sometimes I got this big desk that I have here. Sometimes I have 50 books out on this desk looking for the information for one thing, and that might take 2 or 3 days. This thing is, I just Googled it, and it's this, it's that. Or these people put a video on YouTube, and so that's now my new religion. Now I'm joining this cult because this is on YouTube, and these YouTube people said it's like this, so this is the way it is. And so that's a problem that we have. We run away. We take information from people. They give us this stuff, and they hoodwink us, and they trick us, and we run with it. And nobody sits back and says, you know what? I gotta really break. Let me. I'm basing my eternity on this book called the Bible, or this book called the Quran. Let me analyze this. Let me break it down. What was the language before this, and how did that get translated? Oh, really? Oh, okay. So Hebrew and Aramaic, and okay. Let me break that down further. Where did this information come from? Who wrote this? Because people who believe in Christianity, for example, they believe that the Bible was written in real time. Like it was somebody standing there going, what did he say again? No, man. Listen, the Bible was written so long after those people were dead and gone by people who weren't even Christians. The Bible was written by Phoenicians, followers of Hermes. And the Bible was written from 100 AD to 900 AD. Long after the events had all long since happened, and they copied that a lot of that text from other ancient texts, the Sumerian cylinder scrolls, the Sumerian and Akkadian cuneiform tablets, the Mahabharata, the Bhagavad Gita, the Code of Hammurabi, the Epic of Gilgamesh, the Atrahasis epic, the Enuma Elish, and the Seven Tablets of Creation. I can go to the Tibetan Book of the Dead. That makes up most of the Old Testament and Proverbs right there. And so nobody's doing this breaking down. They're just taking this religion that's been force-fed to them, and then they're running with it, and they believe it. Somebody takes, you see a video, oh, the earth is flat. They take the information, and they run with it. Oh, yeah, because it just makes sense. Well, how come you can't look across from New York City to London on New Year's and take me a picture of the fireworks going off in London? How come you can't do that? How come no matter how high you the highest building on this planet, you can't take a picture of somebody on the other side of the planet or a building as high on the other side? You can't see the Burj Khalifa from where you are. How come you can't do that? Come on, so we have to stop running away with these crazy concepts and ideas. We got to grow up as a people. I mean, we really got to grow up. We have a lot of growing up to do. We're getting there because it's getting a lot better. People are really starting to do more research and become better at it. But we got to stop taking these handed down ideologies, Illuminati. I remember I had a shirt on one time which had the symbol for vortex mathematics, which is, Nikola Tesla type, mathematics and stuff like that. And one of my followers made it for me, and I was on a video, and people started commenting when I posted it. Look at his shirt. He's a Freemason. Half of these people don't even know what a Freemason actually even is. If you sit down and say, well, break down, what is a Freemason? Tell me what it is right now. They can't even. They're just throwing things out there, and we got to do better, man. We got to do better because we're the only race that's behind on this planet. Now we're catching up, but we, at one point we ran this planet, but we got a lot of work to do, which is why I'm out here, and I'm not afraid to talk about aliens, UFOs, and a lot of these aliens that are flying around these spaceships are black people. That's what they nobody touch on.
Hold up, you said that before. A lot of the aliens flying around are black people.
Black people are flying around in these ships. Some of the original Hebrews with these terms like chosen people and all this stuff, it has to do with galactic societies, galactic civilizations. People come from other star systems. Olmecs from Africa. These black brothers were spacefaring people. They had ships they would fly in. I mean, that the helmet that you see them wearing is like a space helmet, the one that they have down there in Mesoamerica. But they came from Africa. They set up the Teotihuacan civilization long before the Mayans even arrived. The Mayans weren't even there yet. The Mayans inherited the technology and everything and the wisdom from the Olmecs and Thoth, and then they kind of made it part of their system.
That's what the Mayans told me when we went down there. Got it on video. Gave it all up. He was like, "Oh, we got this from the mother civilization. It's from your people." And he's like, the Mayans. What year was that, Blue? When did they tell you this? 2012? Cozumel, yeah. It's on the YouTube channel. It's on Numerology TV.
Nice.
Carlos was the name of he was a tour guide. He said he never seen a group of melanated people come down there. He said, "I'm going off script today. I'm going to tell you the truth." He's like, I got the script. I could tell you what they want me to tell you, or I could tell you what's really the truth. He's like, these are your people. They come. He's like, they're in Tabasco. They're in the peninsula, the Yucatan Peninsula. He was like, yo. He was like, they taught our people.
Yeah.
He said that there were 52 or 53 different states or nations in Mexico. So they're not all of the same people. Right. He was like, nah, our people is your people, and there's other people that is part of your people. You know what I'm saying? And there's them other people.
Right.
So it's all one nation.
It's I don't mean to cut you off, Blue, but it's crazy because we look at when we see white Jesus as melanated people, we say that's some racist shit to erase our history. But even the concept of flat Earth can be considered some racist shit to erase our galactic history.
That's what it's doing. There's no oxygen. I remember this guy was harassing my people and harassing my account one time. And I said, let me ask you a question. Did you graduate from high school? Because what you're telling me makes no sense. There's no atmospheric gases. I said, what are you breathing right now? What is keeping your body alive? There's nothing here. I'm like, well, what are you breathing and what atmospheric gases? He says there's no atmospheric gases. And so when you're breathing in something to keep your body alive, if I remove the atmospheric gases from the room you're sitting in, your body's going to collapse.
Billy, one of the main things they say is that they can't make it past the Van Allen belt, I believe.
You know what? Shout out to Lester Lovin, because his observation says the earth is flat and round. It's like a icosahedron, right? So it has those flat surfaces and it has round surfaces.
That is true.
Like how we would envision a dodecahedron. Almost like how we would envision a soccer ball. So, you know, again, the conversation that people are having to me is fruitless, because the real conversation is that you don't live on Earth, flat or round. You live 2 inches off of Earth, standing on rubber soles. You don't ground on Earth. You don't have a connection to Earth. People just want to argue about whether this shit is round or flat, but they don't want to stand on it. Don't want to connect with it. Don't want to grow from it. You know what I'm saying? Don't want to put their hands in it. Don't want to work with the minerals.
Right.
It's like, it's a nonsensical conversation. You never see it dealing or leading to abundance.
Right.
It never leads to abundance.
Never. What are we talking about?
Never leads to
Good point, Blue. Great point. Great point.
Never.
Yeah, it's like that shit is an angry conversation. And it's a psychological setup to say what you are in the times of the Crusades. So the backdrop is the Crusades. Now the forefront conversation is flat Earth, to bring you back to the conversation that was taking place back then.
It keeps you in the loop.
Yeah, it keeps you in the loop. But that's not. Yeah, again, that's a false narrative, right? Conversation that takes place, because Columbus never said that he was coming to India. He said he was coming to Jerusalem. He said he was coming to the Holy Land. Right. And now they're finding insurmountable amounts of evidence with ancient glyphs to speak of Paleo Hebrew language over here. They're finding all of the glyphs, right? They're finding all of the glyphs that tie those lost tribes over here. And a lot of the narratives that have been documented in these books took place over here.
Yeah, absolutely.
So there's so much, right? And then when you go into what's considered the quote unquote Native American, all of them have cosmic narratives. All of them have cosmic origin narratives. I just came from Tucson sitting with some of the tribes who were making the jewelry. The grandmothers were making it. All of their jewelry's got Star Nation references to them. All of them. These are the nanas. They 90 plus. These people came over here and exterminated Star Nation people in their program. They didn't kill no regular folk. These people were the people who were the custodians of the information that your ancestors brought over here, and that they had as well. Earth is a consortium of nations from different star nations. This is the meeting spot, right?
Earth is a consortium of nations from different star nations. That's
right. That's right.
Wow.
We find those. What he's talking about, what Blue Pill's talking about, is spot on, because what he's talking about is we keep finding these ancient religious centers all throughout the Americas. We find them all throughout, Turkey, like Göbekli Tepe, Derinkuyu, down into South Americas. We find them, Chaco Canyon, and all these other places. And now they're finding them even in Michigan, underneath the water. We found Stonehenge in Michigan and all these places. These are all religious centers where, not religious, but centers where the people that were involved in the star people and the star brothers and relating to them and having them come down and meet them in certain locations on the planet. These are the locations that they were set up all around the United States, all around South America, all around the world. And it was this whole star nation. And that's really what it was all about, and communicating with them. And they would even come during times of catastrophe, of calamities, and help save our people from things, take them underground into certain caverns and areas and protect us against different geological disasters and all this kind of stuff, and educate our people on space. So when these people are running around arguing over this foolishness about the planet, and now I got Dogon tribe, ancestors, and I'm trying to, and I'm saying to them, I'm gonna slap you in the face, ancestors, because all the knowledge and wisdom you had to gain from the Star brothers that you learned and taught for thousands and thousands of years through verbal handed down history means nothing to me.
It's nothing to me.
People say to their ancestors.
Come on. Yeah, they got you inadvertently spitting in the face of your ancestors.
Woo.
Right.
Woo.
I'm gonna leave it at that.
Yeah.
Powerful. Oh man, it's getting later, but we kicked it up a notch. So it's like it's hard for me to end it because it's like we just kicked it up another notch. Let me see.
We got to do this again, Billy.
Yeah, we definitely got to do this again. Let me get a question. One more question from the people. I'm not seeing a clear question. I'm trying to.
Yeah, I mean, since you know.
Hold up. Somebody, Blue. Before you say that, somebody said, "Is that why the universal law says they can't interfere? Melanated people flying around, but can't help us down here. If they could, game over." So I guess the person is saying. Well, they can't interfere with what the human affairs.
Let me. I will share with you what was told to me. I had contact June 25th, 2010. A year.
That's a long time ago. That was
it was a year right after Michael Jackson made transition. It was in Central Park in front of the Met Museum. I had just came back from Serpent Mound doing ceremony. Remember, this was 2010. We went to Serpent Mound to do ceremony based on the fact that we knew that Drake coming in as an artist was bringing in Draco energy as a Scorpion. He's Typhonian. I was like, yo, we got to do something, at least to signal to the universe that we see what's taking place, right? And his connection to what? To Kanye. Kanye is Ursa Minor. He would be the pole star represented now. These individuals are not stars. They're constellations because they got a bunch of other stars under their umbrella. Right. So now they're in conflict because they represent the mythos or the narrative of these pole stars that are banging out against one another, right? And we will be bringing in the new pole star in about 20 plus years, and that's King Cepheus, right? The Ethiopian king. So this reset, this thing that we're seeing, all of it is necessary. Remember, everything is all good at all times. So, you know,
yeah, well,
yeah,
you have to you have what this gentleman here who typed that question or that statement really is what a statement, but you have there's a prime directive, and the prime directive is something you even hear in some sci-fi type movies or shows, and the prime directive is from a galactic standpoint, direct interaction on a consistent basis with a less civilized civilization. Lower level civilization technologically is really kind of forbidden. And some people break that prime directive and have engaged mankind over different time frames or time periods. But there is a prime directive, just like we have a prime directive that we initiate ourselves against other species, other animals, things like that. But sometimes people break those laws. And so people can't seem to reconcile between what's happening to us from beings from another place interacting or engaging us or watching us versus what we do to animals on our own planet. So this is another as above, so below in the physical. You look at what we do. We'll go out to the Serengeti. We'll go out to the Amazon. We'll go out to any nature place, right? Nature preserve. And we will hide unseen. We'll put these things actually called hides around us so we can't be seen by the animals. And then we'll actually alien abduct these animals. We'll shoot them with darts, and then we'll snatch them up when they're unconscious, so they don't even know where they went. We'll examine them. We'll stick things underneath their skin to track them.
We'll chip them,
put cameras in their dens, all that kind of stuff, and then we'll watch and observe them and get the anthropology on them, figure out how they live and how their civilizations operate, how they interact with each other and all this kind of stuff. That's what's happening to human beings.
That's a wonderful analogy.
Great analogy. Great analogy. Great analogy.
What happened, you know, on that day, they show up. I'm in this energy field now, right?
Wow.
In this energy field, I'm being downloaded, and they're telling me, look, if we intercede, because they said, look, there's a traffic jam in the galaxy because of your people's inability to stand up and be who you know that you are, who you say that you
traffic
are,
jam.
you know you to be. You got an issue down here that needs to be dealt with, and your failure to do so has stopped the planets, the galaxy, from bumping itself up. Like Delbert Blair be like, you going graduating from the 4th to the 5th. They like, look, if we intercede, there's no way that we can separate the wheat from the chaff. So if we come to clean this shit up, everything goes. And if we have to clean it up on your behalf, you are the bitches of the universe. Where you gonna go and hold your head high, saying that you dealt with this adversary, right? That you got on this planet that you're not taking care of, you're not dealing with him. They told me, they said your people are imprisoned by the elements of lead and of lead and iron. And what they meant by that, lead is military. No, iron is military, and lead is like bullets, like the police. So your fear of these particular things, these things that might kill you, right? Your fear to die makes you cowardice, and that shit is clogging the whole galaxy up. Because you got to move this person out of the way so this thing can graduate. And your reluctance to do so is now killing the planet. And there's going to be only but so much that they're willing, because they're watchers. They're looking at it. That's why you see more sightings. They're always there. They're like, yo, we got your back. You got cover. But you would never know, because you wouldn't bust a fruit, a grape in a fruit fight. So you wouldn't even know if you got cover or not to back you up. They said, look, they said, what if we made, right, the tanks and the pistols unoperable? Would your people still, would they pop off then? What's holding them back? And that's a good question.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? If it was inoperable and it was just here with it, and you dealt, because you got all this frustration that you never channeled anywhere, just killing you, you're so mad, but it never shows. You take it out on one another.
Take it out on one another. That's what we do.
But you never pointed and directed to your adversary. The whole universe know that you pussy, right? So what are the aliens possibly going to do for you? They're just sitting there looking at you, shaking their head, saying you're blowing the opportunity of a lifetime. Right? You could be Achilles and Troy, but you instead want to be old boy. Okay.
Right. Exactly. So, that's you hit it on the head there.
Yeah, you got all the so the spaces is crowded. It's mad at them pulled up to the show. Like, all right, we heard they're supposed to get it on. It's like, nah, they was just marching. There's nothing here.
Yeah, nothing there. There's no overthrow. There's still 7.7 billion colored people being ruled by 100 families. Nothing here.
What they supposed to do? They're supposed to come and save you? No, you're gonna get washed up, my G.
Yeah.
Because we don't have no use case in the universe no more.
Listen, we have over 20,000 weapons. Out of the 20,000 major ballistic weapons on the planet, missiles, there's about 3,800 or 4,800 of them that ballistic nuclear. And so you're an alien, advanced being. You're coming by the planet. You detect, they can split an atom. They got these weapon systems, all over the planet too. They got they even have satellites with weapons. Let me analyze this. Wow, they're really protecting their planet. Oh, wait a minute. I just found out from the data came back. No, these weapons are aimed at themselves. And oh, wait a minute. Only a few people built these weapons and aimed them back at the people on the planet. And the people on the planet allowed this to happen? Oh, they ain't ready. We got 3,800 nukes aimed at ourselves, and we don't have an escape pod. And we out here worried about voting and all this other kind of stuff. The weapons are pointed at us everywhere on the planet. And we're sitting here participating in their system over and over. Oh, no, it's going to get better with this guy, the lesser of the two evils and all that. The weapons, when these weapons if somebody decides to actually finally put the codes in, they're going to be alive because they got the escape pods, they got the underground shelters. We're going to be the ones, the people of the planet, and most of all the colored people around this entire globe, of all the various colors, are going to be the ones that get wiped out. And they're going to come back and reestablish a brand new kingdom.
And they're showing you, right, all them TV shows are showing you that right now. What? They're showing you that the surface is going to be inhabitable because of radiation based on what? Nuclear fallout based on what? Them creating false narratives and beefs and then getting in a bunker and pushing triggers and pressing buttons. You think that they got issues with one another, and they like, nah, it's part of the narrative. We told you we wasn't gonna give it back.
Right.
They like, you niggas need to read your Bibles more. Yeah.
They grew together. They work together. Just like we have this illusion that America and Russia are at war and we're going to kill each other. Man, America and Russia are the best of friends.
Or we got the illusion that Trump is our best friend. That Trump was, like, I mean, I don't know how he tricked the people.
Listen to the level of trust that is entrusted with the fact that you have conjoined another country to go to space with them.
Right. Thank you.
To space.
Thank you. And been doing that.
To space, right? You are in partnership with y'all are both sharing space together and doing business up there, right? Collectively, but you got problems. Yep. Come on now.
It's fake. It's all fake. And like the Illuminati Secret Covenant says, when you read that letter that was sent to that radio host back in 2002, somebody who wanted to get out of the Illuminati, they sent this letter anonymously to this radio host. And the radio host put this information out. So it's publicly available. Anybody can pull this down, download it. You can even go to YouTube if you want to and see somebody reading it. But it's documented this guy got. He actually had this a reporter. I forgot the reporter's name, but you could find out who it was. But anyway, in that report, in that statement, it said one of the things that they said was the illusion will be so great it will escape their perception. The illusion will be so great that it will escape their perception. And so we thinking, oh man, look, we're enemies with this flag and we're against this flag and this flag don't like us. And all. Man, the leaders of all these majority, not all of them, but the majority of these countries, they working together. They be having tea together and hanging out, playing golf and going over each other's houses and attending each other's little special events. These people love one another. They in bed because they're getting that money together. And they just paint these illusions. Okay, this year you're gonna be the bad guy, and we're gonna project this.
I mean, and if it was never visible, it was visible during COVID. Right? They operated as a global unit.
Yes, the vaccine overnight, the vaccine program, how
do they have agencies and they got relationships with they brought everybody to the table to say, oh, simultaneously you're gonna shut down and you're all gonna take this together, and nobody said no.
No, that's right. That's right.
Well, the African leader that said no mysteriously got killed.
He's gone. He's gone.
What? Right? That was Tanzania?
Yeah.
Okay.
Right?
They hit him with a heart attack gun. He gone.
Yes.
Yeah, he's
so
gone.
who's in control here? What disunity? What beef? No, there has to be an overlord that's, calling the shots, because these people fall a step quick.
And let's change the topic. That's what I got suspended for on YouTube. So we're gonna save this talk whenever we got webinars, and there's a lot of webinars. Billy got webinars, Blue, myself. That type of talk is saved for the webinars, but it's just the type of times we live on. I just came off suspension, y'all, from YouTube, so y'all know what it is.
Let me answer the Van Allen radiation belt real quick.
Yeah, please do. Yeah. Then we're gonna get out of here. Yeah.
The Van Allen radiation belt is a radiation belt that is around the planet. Now, a lot of people always say, well, how in the world can we go into space if there's a radiation belt up there that Van Allen discovered? Because Van Allen was an actual person. This doesn't have the capability of letting me share my screen, does it?
You could.
Share a screen.
What it says?
It says share screen. Let me click on it. Let me just click it and see what happens. Okay. Can you see my screen or?
No, I don't know why I can't. Okay, I see it now. Okay, here we go. All right, go ahead, Billy.
Oh, you see my screen? Okay, great.
Yes, go ahead.
This is the article that I wrote that became famous. It's called "Yes, We Went to the Moon, and Yes, We Lied About It." Let me start off with a couple of conspiracies. I want to break some of these conspiracies down, including the Van Allen radiation belt. First of all, you see this image here?
Yes.
Okay, this is the image of the Apollo 11 guys here that was put out, and it's still floating around the internet right now. It's still viral. how they got their helmets off when they're supposed to be on the moon, blah, 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 blah. It didn't happen. Okay, now you have to realize the images that we sent back from the moon, some of them were real, some of them were fake. Because why? Because they're getting technology. In the back image here, you can see this is the original image that had been turned to gray, and so this is where they're practicing. If you look at the top of the image, you can see their building back there, the facility in Florida. Mm-hmm. They're out here practicing for the moon stuff, the moon walk and the moon buggy and everything else. Mm-hmm. Somebody took and cropped out the buildings in the back at the top here and turned it gray and put some fake craters on the ground and said that these people were on a movie set. No, they weren't on a movie set. They were in back of their normal facility practicing with their moon buggy. Okay. Mm-hmm. Let's go through this real quick. The Van Allen radiation belt. Well, this particular video, we don't have time to show that, but let me just go to the static image. So the Van Allen radiation belt, primarily, it whips around through Earth's magnetic fields. Okay. This is the exact, can you see these red arrows coming up out of the Earth? Mm-hmm. Those arrows are the path that the Apollo mission took to escape the Van Allen radiation belt. They discovered that the belt is stronger on both sides of the planet based off the planet's angle of and angular momentum and its actual axis, depending on the time of the year, the time of the season. And they found that the magnetic fields whip around in a certain way that create massive openings in the belt. So initially, Van Allen did discover the belt from one of the Mercury missions, because we sent up satellites before we sent up Apollo. The satellites detected this radiation up there. It came back to NASA with the concerns that this could be an issue. NASA said, wow, we need to check into this. So they did check into this, and it's well documented that it was checked into. All the science data, everything is available to everyone. Ignorance is no excuse. They found out that the belts are there, but that there are these gigantic openings in the belts because of the Earth's magnetic field and how it whips around. And as how the Earth spins on its axis, it creates something called bow shock, which bends radiation around the planet. And so since it bends it as it's moving around the sun and it spins on its axis, there's massive openings that they detected with actual science data and satellites. And once they found the openings, they said, oh, we just map a path, a trajectory of launch through these openings. They also found out something else during these satellite tests. When they collected the amount of level of radiation and transmitted it back to Earth, they found out that the radiation was only lethal if you were in an unprotected vessel that sat there for almost 3 months. Then you would receive a completely total deadly level of radiation, and then you would die. To get to the moon, it only takes 3 days, really almost 3.5 days, 3.5 days with that technology at that time to get to the moon. You'd only be passing through the Van Allen radiation belts for a day and sometimes maybe a day and a half, depending on where you launch, or Houston or Florida, okay, and the time of the launch window. So if you're in a protected, radiation-hardened vessel, which they were in, and you're passing through even the thickest part of the radiation belt, and you're only spending a day and a half there maximum, you're still not going to have a lethal dose of radiation. You're still not going to die. This has been well proven and well documented now, not just by NASA, but by many different space agencies, many different independent studies, many different universities, astrophysicists around the planet. This is not mystical information or mysterious science. This is well documented, well vetted, well peer-reviewed information that anybody can get. Let's move on real quick, because I want to hit something else real quick, by the way. And if you have a chance, go to forbiddenknowledge.com and go to my blog, and then you'll find this article I did here. Let me hit on these shoes. You remember this famous image? You ever seen this image floating around the internet? The space boot? Right. Yeah. Oh, look, look at the bottom of his foot. First of all, the boot print comes from the overshoe. So when you're inside of a space capsule, you don't put on 20-pound overshoes to fly into space. That's uncomfortable. You have on this part, which is the main boot, and then the over boot straps on top of that. So people say, oh, no, you're just making it up. Oh, really? Okay, well, I have the whole video of the full spacesuit on here, which anybody can go and watch an astronaut getting dressed. But if you look here to the right of this new image that I'm showing you now, they never show you this. You have the overshoe on the right-hand side, That's where the boot print comes from. They slip their feet in that. Those things they're heavy because why? Because the moon has way less gravity than Earth. You need something to keep you down on the surface. If you jump too hard, man, you'll go up 20, 30, 40 feet in the air. You can't work like that. So these overshoes, you slip your feet in. You slip while you're still in these smooth boots, and those overshoes strap, and there you go. That's what creates the boot print. This is the actual overshoe. This is an X-ray of an extravehicular EV overshoe that was worn on the Apollo spacesuit and space missions. You can see the straps here, the Velcro straps. You slip your foot in and you strap it to your foot. So you have the smooth boot that goes in on the inside of this heavily weighted boot. It goes into what the boot's made of, the materials that it's made out of, everything else. These are the overshoes. So the scammers and the fraudsters and the deceivers, they want you to believe their narrative. They never, ever, ever show these images because they don't want you to wake up. They don't want you to know the truth. They want you to follow their agenda into complete ignorance. And who does this stuff? People who want to keep Black people in a state of stupidity. That's who does it. And we just run right after them. We got to stop this. This video right here, when you guys get some chance, forbiddenknowledge.com blog, go here, check this out, watch this video, watch the astronauts getting dressed and putting on the overshoe and testing them out with the smooth boot sliding into the overshoe. Okay. And this here, last thing I'm going to show y'all, the fake interview with Stanley Kubrick on the fake moon landing. This video been going viral for so many years on so many platforms. This video is an absolute fake. First of all, this isn't Stanley Kubrick. Second of all, the interviewer, there's a break where the interviewer is yelling at him. Watch this full video. They only show you a small clip when you're watching these conspiracy pages. Watch this full video on my blog of him getting chewed out for not keeping with the narrative and remembering his lines. Watch the interviewer curse him out in this video for getting off track. This is not Stanley Kubrick, and it's not what people think. This is a scripted enactment that was being made, and somebody recorded it, and they put it out as if this was Stanley Kubrick saying this was the whole moon landing was fake. Not so true. Now, why did I name the blog We Went to the Moon? Yes, we went to the moon, and yes, we lied about it because yes, we did go to the moon. Because when we sent up several satellites that did a low lunar orbit, we discovered that there was remnants of an advanced civilization up there. And we wanted to go up there and be the people to get the moon race between us and other countries was to who can get their hands on that technology first, who can analyze it, bring it back, and see what the heck this is, and how can we, of course, weaponize it, because it was all about, everything is always with them about how can you weaponize something, how can you make, turn it into weapons so you can make the war machine run better. He sent Apollo as a reconnaissance mission to grab some of these items. That's where we landed in a particular location. The Sea of Tranquility is where we landed. We landed there. There's a lot of debris there, just laying around, scattered on the surface. They were collecting that debris and bringing it back. At the same time, they don't want us to see the stuff that's up there. So they gave us a point of view of some real live moonscapes, and some was fabricated moonscapes that they created themselves to give a fake presentation as to what's really going on up there. It's just this barren landscape. There's nothing on the moon. But that's actually not true. There's water on the moon, liquid water, well documented now. This is actually mainstream science. They found billions of tons of liquid water on the moon. This is why they call the area that they were in the Sea of Tranquility. Moon has an actual slight atmosphere, not a thick atmosphere, but it has an atmosphere because it has enough gravity to sustain an atmosphere. It has even a weather cycle on the moon, has clouds. This is also well documented. So it's a lot of stuff that we just don't know because we don't dig deep into the research. This article, which is probably going to take you about 40 or 50 minutes to go through all these videos and all these writings, will wake you all the way up and help you overcome this Van Allen radiation belt thing and only Black people can travel in space. Not true. Again, that's something I keep hearing pop up. No, other beings of other different melanin levels can still travel in space. It's all about what technology you have to get into space. It has nothing, and your knowledge of what's going on out there and how to navigate. It has nothing to do with the color of your skin. But I will tell you this: if you look at a couple of videos, even on this blog, you'll find that Norman Berggren, who was a huge physicist and scientist and ran one of the largest programs that provided top secret technology to the space agencies. He said that he saw, when we landed on the moon and he was at the command station, he saw Black people across the crater getting out of a ship and watching our people land and walk on the moon.
Yeah, I see it.
Yeah.
Wow. I heard about that.
Oh, yeah. We also have the black box tapes from the Apollo mission where you actually hear Buzz say, they've landed and they're watching us. And after he said that is when they cut the live stream from the Apollo mission. They cut the live stream. And after he said that, they cut the live audio. And so, but he said it, and that's recorded for posterity. We got it. It's there. So, guys, yes, we went to the moon. Yes, we lied about it. Read this blog. It'll wake you up to a lot of these fraudulent scams that have been getting passed around and going viral online. Got Black people thinking all this crazy stuff. We just got to do better research, people. We got to become better at really digging for truths and stop taking what somebody tells us for face value. Because if you're going to do that, you might as well just stay in religion. You got to wake up. We got to come to the next level now. All these ideologies that are being passed down to us, and we're running with it and becoming aggressive with them. Like Blue Pill said, is this going to lead to abundance? If it don't lead to abundance, I don't want nothing to do with it. Period. That's all I care about right now.
We got about 10 minutes left, family. I seen Mr. G Dub. If you have a question, I'm gonna think you're a troll. You keep criticizing. If I want you to give me a question to ask Billy, and I'm gonna ask Billy because obviously he disagrees with what you're saying, Billy. Mr. G Dub 74, give me a question to ask Billy, and I will ask him. Since you don't believe none of this moon stuff or space travel stuff, give me an educated question. I will ask Billy. If you're just in the chat criticizing and you're putting up post after post, I'm gonna think you're a troll. Besides that, we got about 10 minutes left, family. One question I want to throw at you, Billy. Somebody says, why didn't we go back there? If you say all this exists, why didn't we go back there, Billy?
Oh, they've been back. They've been back many times. You see, and that's even documented as well. Apollo wasn't the last time. Apollo 11 was not the last time we landed on the moon. I think it was Apollo 15 may have been the last time. Apollo 15 or 16 may have been the last time we actually physically landed on the moon. Again, that's way after Apollo 11. Many missions to the moon happened. Many different astronauts went to the moon. Now, after that phase of, I think 17 was a failure or didn't happen for whatever reason. I think it was a fire in the capsule on the launch pad, if I remember correctly. But however, anyway.
Hey, Billy, real quick. I'm sorry to cut you off. The dude has a question. I'm sorry to cut you off. I know we got a limited time. It's 1:16. I mean, he says, after all that you said, Mr. G Dub, you said a lot. The question you came up with, this is the question you came up with. Why are there videos of astronauts on wires? I guess you mean why aren't there? I don't know. Maybe
I know what he means. Yeah. And that's actually a good question.
Okay.
That's actually a great question. I answered that question in my blog article. So, like I said, because of what was discovered up there and what they wanted to get their hands on, because when you get your hands on these types of things, like they're getting their hands on Mars right now, you have an upper hand on the rest of the world, because now you're getting your hands on information that nobody else has access to, and knowledge is power. All right. So now all of a sudden they realize, if we pan this camera all the way around, people are going to see some of this stuff up here. We can't do that. But we want the people to think that the moon is this barren wasteland. Part of the moon footage is actual, real footage. Part of some of the moon footage presented to the general population is fake moon footage. Why would they do that? Well, if I know that there's a structure over here behind me, dilapidated, broken down structure, if I know that there's remnants of pieces of junk over here, you're going to say, who is that? Who put that there? How did that get there? China made a big mistake. Look up the China rover images, moon rover. China sent a rover to the moon, and they didn't block any of their images coming back. And their rover got stuck in a whole bunch of piled up debris on the moon. Not rocks, but pieces of debris that look like metal and all kind of other stuff. And they got trapped in it, actually. And they broadcasted those images back, and those images are available for anyone to download. There's debris up there. Things that should not be up there are up there. At the time, they've said, we don't want nobody to know about this. Let's make them think it's just barren wasteland. It's just there's nothing but sand up here, moon dust, and then sky. That's all we got. Meanwhile, they keep going back under the guise of research, but it's really a mission to gather intel and gather information. Then they left a satellite array up there, a dish array up there on the moon. Now, why would they leave a dish array on the moon, and why do they transmit on a monthly or sometimes even a weekly basis information through a laser beam from Earth to those dishes? It's a communication beam. Who are they communicating with? You see, if you listen to the black box audio, get the black box audio tapes, which are from Freedom of Information Act we put in about 8 years ago. You can listen to those on this that same blog. Black box tapes, as they're flying over, trying to find the Sea of Tranquility, Neil Armstrong is looking down and he says, look at those conical craters. Conical means dome. He's talking in code now. He says, oh my God, I bet the people down there never get out. That is black box audio and the black box redacted paperwork that you can download directly from the FBI.gov. You download it from the Space Agency website directly. And we provide the links. It's publicly available information. Nobody ever questions it because nobody ever looks for it. Nobody even knows it exists, but it does exist. I've been in several documentaries talking about this. So they projected to the world a fake image of the moon so that they can continue to keep going back. And now we have the X-33B space shuttle. Yes, we still have space shuttle guys that still launch on a consistent basis from Earth, from America. And it's called the X-33B. They actually announce when they're going to launch because they have to, because they're going into space. You have airspace needs to be classified, so people can't travel over that area, restricted, so people can't travel while this thing is launching. Well, the X-33B, it goes into space. It's a cargo ship, and it goes into space for 700 days at a time. Where's it going? It's taking supplies to the moon and Mars, potentially, in my opinion. That's not official, but that's what I believe it's actually doing. It goes away for 700 plus days at a time, and then it comes back. We know when it takes off. We know when it lands. Where it goes, it's top secret, but it goes into space. So there's a lot going on that we are, as people of poor research and low levels of access to information. Because of that, and also emotions. When the emotions get twisted into all that lack of information, we actually come up with our own personal agendas and own personal ideologies. In reality, we have to remove emotion. So many people respond to information and new knowledge and alternative information with emotion first. And when you respond with emotion, you're probably most likely going to fail. Because until you remove emotion and operate on logic, you never get to the bottom of anything. Emotion clouds the brain. And this is why I love looking at Star Trek and why the Vulcans, to me, are the most incredible creation in that series, because these are people that operate purely and solely on logic, and they seem to have all the solutions to all the problems. Even they're the best negotiators. Why are they the best negotiators in the star system? Because they don't have emotions. And so you remove the emotion, your emotional response, your trigger response you want to put out there, and operate within logic, and then go sit down and do some research. Not many people heard me talk about the blog. Many people know the website, an address to the blog, but less than 1/10 of 1% of the people will ever even go and read it. Less than 1/10 of 1% of the people that ever got my book ever opened it up. They just wanted the book because they thought it was cool to have a book. Less than 1% of the people will never read the majority of the information that's presented to them that's alternative, that goes against something that they deeply emotionally feel connected to. You know, Christians will never read the entire Bible. You know, so again, it's just we have to remove this emotional block that we have so we can get down to the nitty gritty and find out exactly what the heck is going on out here. And how can we advance our people to the next level? We're not going to advance our people to the next level operating on emotion, attacking one another, killing one another in the streets, and letting the ruling elite continue to operate with this divide and conquer tactics and keep sending these psyops into our communities that got us fighting over the shapes of planets and all kind of crazy stuff. And the people that's doing this, they can't give you one bit of information on any other topic that has to do with helping move people forward. There's nothing that in those topics that they're fighting over. There's nothing in the topics that they're disagreeing with that's going to help us as a people become better, become stronger, become wiser, become more abundant. It's just little tiny cat fights going on. And to me, it's the most ridiculous thing I've ever seen. We gotta really come together, and we gotta wake up. Unity and waking up and becoming real deep researchers, removing the emotion, operating on logic, and stop killing ourselves in the streets is the only way we're gonna get to the next level.
Man, oh man, such a powerful. Well, how long I've been on? Yo, we've been on here for 3 hours. We've been on here. Billy came in the last hour, man. He was swinging. Billy been swinging the last hour. Yeah, man, I've been on here for 3 hours, family. I've been on here in a week. It feels good to be back on the air.
That's right.
Before we and I thank everybody for their comments, for their questions, for everything, just for their participation in tonight's show. Before we get out of here, I want to leave Blue Pill and Billy Carson. They have a lot of things coming up, and they also have websites and things. If you're interested in getting some of their products, they have magnificent products. So I want to give them an opportunity to share that with you. So let's start out with Blue Pill, and Billy, you can close it out, my brother.
All right.
Yes, indeed. Family, you can tap in goldwater.com, GOLDEWATER. We have a consortium of products over there. And this is the right time of season, you know what I'm saying, to prioritize your health. You know what the conversation is going on outside, so you have to take responsibility. You have to build your immunity. You have to take matters into your own hand, right? This war is over your body. So you got to stand on those principles and take care of yourself. And we do have, products that are available for that. Shout out to my brother Al-Kibalan. We still have an impending release on a major book that's coming forth called Convos with the Cosmos. All right. And we'll be coming on shortly to update you about the nature of that release. Okay.
All right.
To family in Atlanta area, I will be at a venue called Alter Candy on Sunday, April 25th. And ironically, that's going to be in April 25th of 2010, we did an event in Atlanta called Fear of the Black Planet with Professor Griff, Noble Land Pool. AA was supposed to be on that particular bill, but he didn't make it. I think that Ghetto Shaman was with us for that, and me and Red. So that was a monumental event. So we're going to be doing another event that's inclusive of Professor Griff. We have a few other presenters, performers, and vendors at Alter Candy. That's going to be in the west end of Atlanta. You can go to the link in my bio, or you can go to altercandy.eventbrite and tap into that. It's going to be a dope event here in Atlanta on the 25th on Sunday. I'll be bringing the treasures that I got from the desert out. So you want to be in the building to see these monumental specimens and pieces that I got from Mama Earth.
All right. Beautiful, beautiful. Well, you can go to forbiddenknowledge.com with the number 4. Of course, I have Forbidden Knowledge TV. And so Forbidden Knowledge TV is doing phenomenal. We just had our 1-year anniversary. Thank you, man. Thank you. It's been a great year. A lot of supporters, man. A lot of people joined the network. The network is blossoming, doing phenomenal numbers. And we gave away a free car. So, we gave away a few things. The first 6 months, I gave away a free Macintosh computer every single month to one of the subscribers. A random drawing, whoever's a subscriber, free computer. And last 2 weeks ago, we gave away a free car. So that was something I was promoting for about almost 4 or 5 months. Bought a car cash, videotaped myself buying the car, bringing it down here, getting it to the house and everything. And we had the person that won for the first one, I wanted to be very special. We flew the young lady in from Atlanta down here, picked her up in the Rolls Royce, gave her the first class treatment.
Excellent.
Brought her to the house. We recorded the whole thing, put it up as a show on Forbidden Knowledge TV. She saw the car, she went crazy. She crunked it up. She heard that growl. She said, "Oh my God, I can't believe it." She needed the car so bad. She's a DJ, so she needed a car that could fit her boxes and all that stuff in the back, and everything. Yeah. And starting to pick back up. So she got what she manifested. She manifested this.
That's dope.
And videotaped me of signing over the title to the card and everything else. She went and got it transferred into her name. I gave it to her for, in the paperwork for $1. So she only had to pay 6% sales tax of 6 pennies. And she got the vehicle. Then I paid her, gave her a check for $1,000 to have her ship it back to Atlanta so she wouldn't have to drive. I don't want a female, single black female driving on the highway by herself.
Oh man, woo!
Or back to Atlanta, where she's at now. She's gonna move down here, but back at the end of the year instead. So it all worked out, and we're gonna do another car, 2022, giving away another car. So if you subscribe to fourbiddedknowledge.tv, Apple TV, Roku, Amazon Fire TV, your iOS or Android apps. Over 3,000 phenomenal episodes of shows up there right now and growing. 37 episodes of Egyptian Mystery School up there. It's only $7.77 a month. You can get a free
777.
Get a free 30-day trial if you use coupon code 30 days free. All one word, 30 days free. So, register, check it out. Check out the content, binge, watch some stuff on there. If you like it, keep it. If you don't like it, cancel it. But a lot of people is resonating with a lot of people. And I'm about to do my whole audio book on my TV network. So the Compendium of the Emerald Tablet, I'm going to read it per episode and make it into episodes on TV.
Oh,
the audio of Compendium, you're going to have to get Forbidden Knowledge TV. That's the only way you'll be able to access the audio version of the book.
Wow. Hey, good, Billy.
2 quick workshops. One workshop with my MIT professor, Dr. Tara Swart. We're doing a workshop called Spirituality Backed by Neuroscience on May 29th. It's on Eventbrite. And we're also doing a workshop with Robert Grant, and it's the secrets of the encoded mathematics and the pyramids. And that's going to be on May 8th.
That's going to be fire. That's going to be fire.
We be going in. I got some alley-oops that I turned into some slam dunks based on some of his mathematical code, talking about them 440 royal cubits at the base of the pyramid. I mean, he's a beast with it.
He's a beast with it. So that's May the 9th. So you can just go to my website and click on the workshops link at the top, or go to eventbrite.com and type in Billy Carson, and the events will pop right up. But that workshop with Robert Grant is going to be,
I need to be in the building for that.
Yeah.
For real.
That's crazy.
Hey, damn, somebody just sent me a text. Bitcoin fell to 48,000, Blue?
Oh, it's time to go shopping. I did
see it fell to 48. Wow.
Let me buy some right now.
Yeah, I'm gonna go grab some. Again, you gotta understand market metaphysics. I was telling people from day one, I said, watch the markets when it goes from Aries into Taurus.
Right. When the Taurus season start? Today, and that's when the dip happened.
So once again,
man,
like I said, I'm not so much into technical analysis, but these downloads, my ability to see the metaphysics in the market. So it's going to refuel and contract, and then what? It's going to explode. The rocket will take off again. Where it goes, again, like I said, it's tantamount to rockets refueling SpaceX. Some of them joints make it, and some of them crash.
Exactly.
It's the same thing with these coins.
Yeah.
You feel me?
I just bought mine.
Billy said,
I just bought mine.
You just got some. Billy, you fast, man.
Listen, I don't play no games.
You'll see why this dude's successful, right? How the hell you bought it down? Come on, man. You cheating, man. You cheating, Billy.
Night.
He set up for it. Billy, we might need you to do something, on these channels dealing with the currency.
Yeah.
Dealing with the crypto and dealing with some of these plays. Because
he just had the workshop with Dawn Dixon, remember?
Yeah, shout out to Dawn Dixon.
Yeah, shout out to Dawn Dixon.
Yeah, great workshop. We got people. I have a private group on United 99, my social media app, and I'm working with these people for the next 90 days, and we're making some serious progress. Some of them already got their corporation, their tax ID number, their Dun & Bradstreet number, their business plans going. Some of them already got business credit, not using their personal credit, but using their tax ID. They're getting net 30 accounts. Follow my instruction plan right down the list. Getting the net 30s, getting the business credit built up. Some of them already have sent them out to get their personal credit clean so they can even maximize when they want to get the funding and where the funding sources that they're going to tap into. And next, some of them are going to be going onto the crowdfunding platform for business crowdfunding and raising some money. So they're following, man. They're going boom, boom, boom. They're just knocking it out, man. And we're going to create some millionaires in that group.
That's right.
Yeah. So I definitely love to come on there, man. Because, you know, even I'm coming out with my own coin. The Forbidden coin is coming out.
Ooh, when's that coming out, brother? Hold on.
60 days. Forbidden coin.
And when you said it's coming out, when?
60 days. About 60 days.
That's what I'm saying. Like,
awesome, awesome.
Thing is moving, y'all. So really, you know, education is the most important factor in this space. Get you an understanding of what's taking place, but do not miss out by standing on the sidelines too long spectating. Right. That's millionaires are being made overnight.
Yeah. Facts. Yeah.
So,
you see how I just bought these? You only get rich buying on the dip.
Buy the dip. This is the best time ever. People is long face. I'm like, you don't understand the universe. You know what I'm saying? They're lining you up for abundance before the thing contracts, because it has to go into Gemini, dealing with the lungs now. You know, you have to say, okay, if a contraction may happen and bear market kick in, it's gonna happen in Gemini.
Yeah.
You know, or it may expand and blow. One of these coins is 9,000 coins. Something's gonna take off. Everything ain't gonna, you know what I'm saying, hit rock bottom. Something's gonna make its way to the moon.
Yeah.
So you gotta position yourself and know the nature of the game that you're playing. I'll leave it at that.
Yeah, man. That's it.
Hey, family, with that being said, man, we've been on here for 3 hours, man.
Wow.
Blue, I didn't know I was going to keep you that long tonight, man. Woo. Thanks for staying on 3 hours. Billy, thanks for just coming on. I know you're busy. You're a busy brother. You fell asleep. I appreciate you coming on, dropping it, and even answering some of the critics, man. It, you know, we're all trying to learn. Like the brother said in the chat, he's trying to learn. Everybody's trying to learn, and we learn from different sources. So I appreciate you for just answering all types of questions, man. And this is such a wonderful channel. I appreciate everybody for tuning in. This is Brother Rich. I'm going to be back tomorrow, y'all. I don't know with who, but I'll be back tomorrow. But thank you for tuning in, staying with me late. It's 1:40 in the morning. We still got about 1,000 people in the chat room. This is Brother Rich, Blue Pill, Billy Carson. We getting out of here, family. Peace.
All right.